6:01, good morning, live from the Circuit Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Dolphins made a big trade yesterday, trading wide receiver Jalen Waddle and a fourth-round pick to the Broncos in exchange for their first, third, and late fourth-round pick in this year's draft. The Dolphins, after the trade, have now 11 draft picks in 2026. The Titans made a couple signings yesterday, re-signing running back Julius Chestnut to a one-year deal, and they're also signing former Chargers offensive tackle Austin Deckles, who started in 5 games last year. The World Baseball Classic last night, Venezuela captures their first title as they stun the U.S. 3-2. Eugenio Suarez doubled in the 9th inning, sending in the go-ahead run and gave the Venezuelans the win. In college basketball last night, Texas guard Trayvon Marks stunned NC State, hitting the go-ahead jumper with 1 second remaining on the clock and gave the Longhorns the 68-66 win. Texas will move on to play BYU tomorrow night. In Howard, they beat UMBC 86-83. They earned the honor to play 1-seeded Michigan tomorrow. And Ryan O'Reilly netted the shootout winner as the Nashville Predators beat the Winnipeg Jets 4-3. The Preds return home tomorrow night. They'll face the Seattle Kraken with a 7 o'clock puck drop. For all your foundation repair, waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Kicking off your Wednesday morning on 104.5 The Zone. Good morning. There is lots to discuss with only 4 hours to do it here on 104.5 The Zone and 104.5 The Zone TV. Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, 615-737-1045 is the number. We had to give up baseball to Venezuela, but that's all right. We had to give up something because we took hockey from Canada. Blockbuster trade in the NFL. Meanwhile, the Jeremiyah Love buzz has reached a new high here in Nashville. We'll get to all of that and more. Mike Keith at 8:20, Rhett Bryan at 9. And your thoughts in the F&M Bank chat, which is wide open on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel. Ramon Foster, Justin Hawkins, Will Bowling on Wednesday, March the 18th. Good morning. How are we doing?
Good morning, man. Hump day. It feels like it for me, man. I had a late afternoon lift yesterday, and here I am thinking I got, all the energy in the world. Stayed up a little bit, switching back and forth between the WBC, World Baseball Classic, and some of the March Madness play-in games and stuff like that. And let's just say I'm hoping my coffee does for me what it does on the other days this morning, man.
What do you define as late afternoon lift? Like, what kind of time are we talking here?
It was about 5.
Okay.
5:15.
Yeah.
Ended up going to the Y. Ended up actually lifting with my wife and my youngest son because you'd be so proud of him. No, you'd be so hyped for my youngest right now, okay? One, he's doing track. No,
Love it.
He's doing field of
Love
track
it.
and field,
Yep.
okay? And he's taking a strong love for the shot put and the discus. I'm sitting around yesterday, and he honestly motivated me because I was watching some TV. I was doing some scrolling, looking at this Waddle trade and stuff like that, and I'm just thinking to myself, he goes outside. I hear the alarm goes off, the door alerts go off. I'm like, what is Miles doing? I see him walk outside with his discus. And I'm like, my boy is really practicing. He's doing his thing. So he goes outside. He's trying to practice on his swing or his spin and stuff like that. Just get some reps up. By the way, he broke the middle school Sumner County. No, his middle school discus record this past week.
Wow.
Yeah, he did.
That's awesome.
The record was 93 and some change. I'm probably off on that. Miles went 99.6 on his discus.
Very good.
First time doing it. Well, second meet. First year doing track and field. So
Nice.
he's into it. He's got some spin shoes. He's got his spin down now. Taught himself, of course. And you got a friend that actually does track and field stuff too. And I've shown him his profile and
Nice.
everything. So
I love that.
But I saw him doing work outside and I said, let's go lift because he's in the middle of 8th grade. So he has no spring football. So he's not doing training right now as well. So we went to the gym and worked out. I played him yesterday, too, at the end of the workout. Got distracted. I did. We're doing, we finished our lift, and I said, we got a bonus 3 minutes. He and I both, just like a football coach, ain't it? We got bonus time.
Right. We got one more thing.
We got one more.
So you hear, get on the line. Like,
we did 3 sets of 1 minute on the Jacobs ladder. I went, he went on the Jacobs ladder. Have you've been on those before?
I've not. I'm familiar with what they are.
Oh my gosh! So for the people that don't know, this machine that looks like a ladder. It's the rungs. Yep. On a circle. You tie yourself in with a belt. You pull the belt, the string goes up. The higher you go, the faster the Jacobs ladder go.
Right.
So I go a minute, he go a minute. I go a minute, he go a minute. I do my last one. And of course, I'm in shutdown mode at this point in time.
Just surviving.
I'm thinking he knows. We're going a minute. I go, then it's his turn. And then I hop on my phone and I'm just scrolling real quick. I'm winding down. And I see him continually going past the minute. I was like, okay, my boy getting a little extra in, trying to impress Dad. And then I finally look at him. I said, Miles, I said, you rolling? He hops down the slide there. He's like, you left me up there, Dad.
I was just going to keep climbing.
It was like I was waiting on you to say I was done.
Unbelievable.
He went for over 2 minutes.
Locked in.
And I don't know if you've ever done the Jacobs ladder. Will, it's
intense for sure.
It was punishment for us, is what it was initially. And when I tell you, he was so mad at me. He was like, you left me up there. And I blamed him back. I said, well, you knew we were going a minute long. It was a cool, like, dad and son moment.
That's awesome.
But he was mad.
I'm sure.
He was so mad and tired. Sure. I said, well, you'll thank me later. You got better today.
Well, that's also like a coach, too. You're on the last set of something at practice. And then, like, as you're in the middle of doing whatever you're doing, they'll tell you to just keep going.
Yeah.
Which is also very coach-like of you.
I felt him.
Yeah.
Okay. And I played my boy. I'm going to learn to pay attention next time. He needed it anyway.
I've not done those ladder machines. They don't look very fun. Cardio and I don't have a good relationship because my sport is everyone else's punishment for so long that this is 10 years now since I've actually ran. So I'm not. I probably should at this point get back into doing cardio, but I don't do very much of that.
I'd much rather do cardio, even though for whatever reason, I'm getting more and more into lifting. It's probably because I'm working out with my boys now.
Yeah, sure.
I went with RJ 2 days ago to the gym as well. But I am lifting more. But cardio is where I go to. I'm gonna get up and ride my bike in the morning usually. Or I'm gonna do like a high incline walk on the treadmill at the gym.
That's what I'll do, but I won't get after it really very very much.
No, I'm not doing the running no more. I did the row machine. Remember I asked you about that on Monday?
Yeah, right.
I did rowing.
I like doing the rower.
9 minute straights is hell, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Wondering. Yeah.
Doing interval training is my way of doing cardio.
I used to
be able to run just with soccer, and then it becomes punishment, like Will just said. And so, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's do a few minutes here of rowing. Let's get on the bike for a few minutes. Let's go to the treadmill. Let's do a couple sprints.
Yeah.
Let's do some ladder drills. Let's do some, all these types of interval training just to get your heart rate up, and then let's go lift.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Just
It's different muscles too when you do it that way.
I tell my wife and kids, I'm just like, lifting doesn't intrigue me as much anymore. Like I do it because I like the payoff, but as much as I've lifted all my life since 1998, I'd rather run.
That's how I am with running. It's why I like lifting now.
I get it.
Yeah,
I do get it. I absolutely get it.
Titans making a couple of depth moves yesterday. We'll start with the new player they add, according to reports. Chargers tackle Austin Deculus will be, I imagine, the new swing tackle here in Tennessee, or at least be in competition to be the new swing tackle. He graded as the worst tackle in the NFL last year, according to Pro Football Focus. 89th out of 89, allowing 7 sacks. He was penalized 5 times and 516 snaps. 37 pressures allowed, was 72nd in the league. 11 hits allowed, 86th in the league. He mostly played left tackle. He did play some right tackle. He was also a jumbo tight end 18 times last season as well for the Chargers, who were very banged up on the offensive line for the entire season. Played in Houston in 23 and 24, didn't allow a sack in 2 seasons there with very limited experience. Interesting, Ramon, that they chose to go with Austin Deculus, at least for now, instead of bringing back Oli Udoh. Did that surprise you yesterday?
No, it did not. Oli was fine. I think Oli had his limits on what you were asking him to do. And then you also put Oli into starter roles, and it wasn't the best showing for himself either as well. I think this team is going with guys that have a little bit of power, definitely more playing experience, and got a little bit of youth in him as well, too. So he fits the mold to me of a dude who is, to your point, very malleable, not looking for a starting position, and can be a swing guy in a pinch if you need him to. I get power out of him. I also look at the other side of his upcoming, played at a big-time university at LSU, former 5-star, if I'm not mistaken, as well. He comes with an attitude, and I think this offense needs an attitude guy like Austin Deculus on the line of scrimmage if he's in there, or at least in the room. He plays with a lot of emotions, and that's probably part of his problem as well, too. It's like, brother, bring it in and let's figure your career out moving forward. But he's a great, to me, depth piece. And when you look at what they're going to be asking him to do, fit, athletic, big body, can move well in space, but just not a full-time starter for this team. Great depth to have because of the experience as well.
Yeah, Oli Udoh was a fine backup last season. I'm a little surprised. What?
Fine backup.
Yeah, fine.
I know. It fits. That's exactly what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
He, I don't know. I thought that would have made a lot of sense, bringing him back on another 1-year deal or a 2-year deal. That being said, they may want Brandon Crenshaw-Dickson to be the swing tackle and give him a little bit of different competition, or someone else that wanted to come in that they felt like maybe they have their swing tackle and that this is maybe just another outside option. We'll see.
That's probably what it is more than anything. You hit the hammer on the head right there. Yeah. I mean, the nail on the head right there with that one.
Brandon Crenshaw-Dickson is older than J.C. Latham.
Yeah, that's true.
Even though last year was his first season in the league, and it's going to be J.C.'s third this upcoming season. But we'll see. He was 25 last year, Brandon Crenshaw-Dickson, and they made him kind of the centerpiece UDFA last season for a reason. So we'll see what that means for backup O-line action this offseason. Go ahead.
Real quick, Deculus has only played tackle in the league.
He played left tackle, right tackle. He has played, I believe, a little bit of guard.
That's what I was.
And he did play tight end as well.
Hey. Can I do it? I'm going to do it.
Sure.
This might be a career transition for him.
Maybe.
For Deculus. Looking at his size and build, he ain't going to be, well, I'll say this. Respectfully, I don't think he's a long-term NFL tackle. Could be another project the same way Brandon Crenshaw-Dickson is as well. You just don't know the plans with this offensive line coach just yet. But I'm fascinated to see how they end up using him here in OTAs and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like Cordell Volson is probably your backup guard at this point.
No doubt.
But yeah, he did switch between left and right last season. I actually don't think he's played guard.
I'm trying to find it as
well. He played left tackle in 2024, left tackle in 2023. So he's not played guard.
All right. Career changes happen.
Titans did re-sign Julius Chestnut to a 1-year deal yesterday. He played in all 17 games for the Titans last year, primarily on special teams. 11 carries for 40 yards. He led the team with 17 tackles on special teams. I feel like we've got to introduce him as much as a special teams defender as we do a running back, because he's carved out a pretty nice role for himself there.
Yeah, he is. Julius Chestnut, man, he's a core guy at this point. He's a guy that gets signed this time of the year. If he goes out and have a real good year this year, 20-plus tackles on special teams, he probably end up getting like a 2-year deal or whatnot. I mean, this signing for him signifies that he, to me, is a roster guy, to be quite honest with you. If you're signing him to a 1-year deal and you know his primary role is going to be special teams, or put him in the game in a pinch and short yardage, which, I mean, we'll see how that goes offensively for him. You still got Khalil Mullings in the fold as well. But Julius is having run into him 1 or 2 times and just watching him on the team, he's a glue guy type that you want around this team. You got to have those guys in. And Bones Fossil's the other part of this special teams coach is got to have dudes that he can trust on those units as well. And Julius is one of those dudes. And he's productive.
Live for the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio, Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. Coming up, we recap the headlines in the NFL for your Wednesday morning, including a blockbuster trade that has a clear winner after this. What's up? It's Will Boulding. Early to mid-March is an odd time of transition, isn't it? We're saying goodbye to cold and flu season. It's finally losing its grip. Spring is beginning to bloom. Look ahead of the weather. It's going to this week. Now is the time to think about spring cleaning. Get those carpets cleaned the right way. Make sure your home is spotless. Rid your home of cold and flu season by getting Zero Res out there to the house. Zero Res is going to give you a smarter, lasting clean. There are no harsh chemicals. There's no soap residue. You get faster dry times, and everything is going to stay cleaner longer. That's the best part about Zero Res. You're going to invest in that deep clean around your home. Well, make sure you get a deep clean that lasts. Zero Res uses ZR water with no harsh chemicals. It also means pure safety for your family and for your pets. Check them out online at ZeroResNashville.com. Their Google reviews and Facebook reviews are excellent as well. You can call them at 615-535-9376. That's Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. Online at ZeroResNashville.com. And don't forget to ask about their air duct cleaning. Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone and streaming live on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel. Just hit youtube.com/1045 The Zone TV. Hit the subscribe button while you are there. Enjoy the nearly 20,000 that subscribes to the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel. He's Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling. 615-737-1045 is the number. The Denver Broncos, Ramon, sent Jalen Waddle, or received Jalen Waddle, I should say, as the Miami Dolphins also send their 4th-round pick. Denver sends the 30th overall pick of the 2026 NFL Draft, as well as 3rd and 4th round picks. Is there a winner to yesterday's blockbuster trade in the NFL?
I'm saying Denver won. I absolutely think they won this one. Everybody's living by the Los Angeles Rams GM. As he said, bleep those picks. I view this one the exact same way. Their version of it, the AFC version of it. Reason I say they won it, for this reason. I don't think the AFC is anywhere close right now with Patrick Mahomes coming off an ACL as being as strong as what the NFC has shown in years past. In the last few years, I just don't say it. You got the reemergence of Seattle. Philly is still relevant as you need them to be. You just never know what you're going to get out of Dallas at any point in time. Chicago moved up. Green Bay has moved up. And then you look on the AFC side, there's other teams I hadn't mentioned as well. But then you move on the other side, like the Rams in San Francisco. Golly, the NFC is stacked. Right now, there's nobody, in my personal opinion, on the AFC side I truly believe is on the same level as Philly, on the same level as Chicago, on the same level as Seattle and the Los Angeles Rams for that matter. AFC is waiting to be dominated. Kansas City in a conundrum right now because what is Patrick coming back from the ACL? Houston, is CJ going to take another step? When you look at Cincinnati, how are they going to protect him? Baltimore's trying to do all they can as well, and Buffalo can't seem to get over the hump. Right now, Denver, in my personal opinion, is outfitted in the offseason as the best team on the AFC side of things with what their defense presents itself, the head coaching experience, rookie quarterback that shows to be promising, run game, and now you throw Waddle in there. This, to me, takes the cake on the AFC side in the offseason. Yeah,
it's a pivotal season for Bo Nix going into year 3. It is interesting how much Denver has decided to run it back. They had been the only team that had not added a player from another team since free agency opened last week. Instead, they re-signed 17 of their 21 unrestricted, restricted, and exclusive rights free agents. There was a clear need from Denver to get faster at wide receiver. Jalen Waddle's 64 catches for 910 yards and 6 touchdowns this past season would have been 3rd, 2nd, and 2nd for Denver last season. Since entering the league, Jalen Waddle has the 10th most receiving yards among wide receivers with just over 5,000, 11th most yards after catch. He was 8th in yards per target this past season. He has 26 career touchdown receptions and also has rushed for a score. Denver was 29th this past season with 25% of their possessions on offense going 3 and out. Yeah. And I think also they understand that Bo Nix is not the type of quarterback to do more with less and be a super explosive offense. They needed to find a receiver with big play, explosive play ability. And I think Jalen Waddle is a really good fit and makes a lot of sense for what they need.
It is. And looking back at it, I felt like looking at Jalen Waddle get traded to the Denver Broncos, I felt like in seeing this go through that when you look at, what's his name, Sean Payton, he's chasing something. Personally, I think he's chasing that 2009 New Orleans Saints team in general, just the makeup of it as well. Just looking at Denver's players right now, you got Cortland Sutton. You have Pat Bryant, who's a young wide receiver, possession type of guy. You have Evan Ingram, who's signed to him, I think, right now as well. And then, of course, you got Troy Franklin, who could be used as an upgrade. That might be a Waddle guy as well. Offensively still, you got R.J. Harvey, a great offensive line right now, one of the best in the NFL as well. And then I said, let me look back at this 09 team, the one that won the Super Bowl with Drew Brees. Marcus Colston, Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Robert Meacham is in there. Like, he's got premier wide receiver. I almost look at, and it's disrespectful to say this, but the way I feel like he's going to be used, when you look at Jalen Waddle, I feel like he's going to be this offense's level up to where Lance Moore was. He had DJ Shockey on that team as well, or Jeremy Shockey on that team as well. So he's got his Evan Ingram. Don't have to be elite, but he's good tight ends. And you got also an all-star defense. He's replicating the 2009 New Orleans Saints, or at least attempting to. This time he's just got a rookie quarterback that's not Drew Brees. We'll see how he answers that and how can he scheme him up as well. But this, to me, is always history repeating itself. He's chasing the 09 team when you look at the wide receiver core, the running backs as well, the tight end, and just this monstrous defense that we feel like Denver's always going to have.
So Jalen Waddle is due $41.2 million over the next 2 seasons, and the reason why they had to pay such a steep price to get him, I think partly is because they will only take on a $5 million salary cap hit this season. They are on the hook to pay the remainder of Waddle's contract, though, according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. Miami had already paid a lot of his 2026 guarantee, which made him an affordable option as well. All that being said, there is a clear winner and loser here.
Yeah.
I think the winner is the 2027 Miami Dolphins. I think the loser is Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Arch Manning sweepstakes, Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
I think this is still too steep of a price for Denver to pay. A first, a third, and a fourth, you get a 4 back. I think it's a really good trade for Miami, who is totally hitting the reset button with a lot of dead money sitting on Tua Tagovailoa's contract for him to not play for them. But this stinks for Malik Willis.
Yes, it does.
Because he just signed a big guaranteed contract in Miami, and all of a sudden his ability to succeed is lesser than it was yesterday before this trade. And also, his team is starting to plan for a future that's probably without him as they plan to draft another quarterback next season.
Hey, Malik, you got a money counter? Okay, it's gonna occupy your time. While
He's got millions of reasons to not feel bad for him. But at the same time, I feel bad for Malik Willis, the football player, because he has been set up to fail in Miami.
Have you seen their total dead money this season?
Oh, yeah, it's out of this world.
$175 million. And they're still over the cap at like just over $1 million.
Get ready to learn mock drafts. Malik Willis is what we're willing to tell
next year.
Yeah, they have a wide receiver core full of wide receiver 5s. It's crazy.
Golly. I didn't look that far. Well, I saw the memes, of course, of Malik being joked about it, of course. He has nothing. You're right on that one. I personally didn't look at it as far as, hey, the Miami Dolphins are Arch Manning, but it makes sense if he's your guy moving forward. This is how you tank, I guess, legally, and not just asking your coach to lose games to give him $100,000 a month, allegedly. Correct. But to your point, though, absolutely. In the long term, these picks right here give you a lot of flexibility to move forward. But in the immediate sense, in the 2026 season, Denver, to me, I think, over and beyond almost anybody on the AFC side of the ball, too. Like, I think there can be 2 winners, just not Malik Willis in this one.
Just get ready for Miami to probably take one of those wide receivers you hope is going to fall to 35 at 30.
To plan for the future.
I think that's Denzel Boston territory. I think that's Omar Cooper Jr. territory. Just 2 of the names that are going to be considered probably there at 30. We're going to talk receivers with Rhett today at 9. It kind of feels to me like Omar Cooper Jr., Ramon, is on the Emeka Ibuka pathway. A Big Ten receiver who played for the national champion, who's just seen as such a solid option and player that we're going to hope falls to the top of the second round for the Titans to pick. But in reality, he's so solid, he may just climb up to the middle to kind of late first round territory. And I don't know if there's any way he gets past Miami at 30, even if it's not Miami who takes him. That's the guy I would love to add in a perfect world with the 35th pick at wide receiver. But, I don't know if he's going to get past a team as receiver needy as Miami, unless they address that with their first-round pick earlier in the draft.
So Miami's just playing a different draft card than what everybody else is this year.
Like, I mean, they've set themselves up to be to be such a tanking team that you just take the best player available to you every time you get a chance to go on the clock and just fill up the roster with good football players.
And this is Jeff Hafley's spin around the block as well.
And John Eric Sullivan, the new general manager.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how they bring the Green Bay Packers to Miami, how they continue to do that moving forward, because that group don't really draft wide receivers as well, except for this year probably.
Yeah, I also wouldn't be surprised to see them trade one of those firsts again and try to get a 2027 one to maneuver for a quarterback next year. Because they're not taking a quarterback this year.
Nope.
But if they're in the mix for Arch Manning, it's a very different conversation. You know how much I love Chris Bell, obviously, in the third round, coming off the ACL, but
they got time.
All that for the Titans. If you could take Omar Cooper Jr., changes things quickly.
Mm-hmm.
World Baseball Classic last night comes to a dramatic finish, 3-2. Venezuela takes down the United States. Aaron Judge is still actually in the batter's box watching pitches as we speak. He's still there. During the whole medal ceremony, he just stood there with his bat in his hand, waiting for a good pitch as fastballs are just going straight over the heart of the plate. No, in all seriousness, congrats to Venezuela. They were so into this, Ramon. Their crowd was so into it. This was good television last night.
It was amazing television, man. I did watch it. I was very much intrigued by the United States' ability to just plow back the way they did, too. Bryce Harper hit one over the moon.
He had his moment.
He had his moment, man, and I think he'd been in a struggle on the struggle bus as well. He cranked out a 2-run home run and absolutely smoked it, man. To your point, though, the United States had momentum in that moment, and Judge is up because he's hitting after Bryce Harper, and he's got he's got a tail on him as well. Judge is gonna be very patient. He was very patient. It was a full count on his last strike, but before then, the pitcher at the time, I'm trying to see who it was, Venezuela's pitcher at the time, he was 2-0 on Judge. Okay, they meet at the plate. I mean, they meet on the mound. The next thing you know, next pitch, I think it was a sinker, 89 miles per hour, right down the middle. Judge passed on it. Like, if that's what you're speaking of, it's like, did
it multiple times last night.
You got to go Palencia, I think
Palencia was the guy who closed. It was Machado who faced Judge in the 8th.
Oh, my gosh.
After Bryce Harper's game tying.
Yeah, it was. You're right. Machado put it right down the middle, like outside middle is where it was. Didn't swing, held the bat. And then he goes 3-1 on him and throw another strike. And I guess he was looking for, to your point, the fastball. I'm not going to give you the fastball. Then they showed a shift, ended up batting on down third base line, threw him out at first, and you got to go. I give him credit for swinging, for putting it in play.
He did that time.
Yeah, that time. But he does, to your point, got to go on that one. It's not going to be the perfect pitch. Baseball is so full of failure, legitimately, but at the same point in time, legends are born in moments like that.
Yeah, the U.S. had an odd mix of, the best lineup ever assembled of who's who of players who just didn't show up. Cal Raleigh couldn't be bothered to get a hit in this entire tournament and admitted to Mark DeRosa, who talked to the media about it, that he's on schedule for the way he gets ready for the season, but he's just not timing-wise in midseason form yet. They felt like Harper was close. Yeah. They were waiting for the big moment on Harper, and he had 3 hits in the last 2 games and it was 2 for 4 with a homer and the 2-run bomb last night. He kind of got going, but it was really the more underutilized players that were better in this entire tournament for the U.S. It was Gunnar Henderson's home run against the Dominican Republic in the semis. It was Pete Crow Armstrong carrying, around a 300 average the whole tournament. Bryce Terang hit 364. Kyle Schwarber was good. He never had that big moment other than the Brazil home run.
Yeah.
Will Smith was just kind of okay. But Aaron Judge is the captain of the United States, going 0 for 4 last night and just watching fastballs over the heart of the plate in 3-1 counts over and over again.
Yeah.
The guy is not the one you want up in a big spot. He's just not. And my goodness. I could not believe the amount of big moments that Aaron Judge came up in where he had nothing.
This next time, considering Venezuela won, and they also went toe-to-toe with the Dominican Republic, the United States, that is, just watching the reaction of guys like Paul Skeens after the loss. I wonder in the next World Baseball Classic, will they dream team this thing?
So this was the dream team. That's the whole point.
Without Trout.
Trout couldn't get insurance.
But
the insurance part of it took the decision out of a lot of their hands for hitters. There was a report yesterday about the who's who of pitchers that they tried to get and couldn't. And, I'll find this list real quick. There are so many good pitchers that just chose not to do this. What I think is going to happen is this is going to be the equivalent of 4 nations for USA Hockey, and then they all got together for the Olympics.
Okay.
And the Olympics in 2 years in Los Angeles will give the United States a big opportunity to say, all right, well, this means a lot more, and it's also in the middle of the season.
So they're ready.
Versus being before the season. Mark DeRosa talked about that this week and said, if you put this thing in the All-Star break, we'd have none of these issues. Guys would play, and they wouldn't feel like they're risking injury to go all out before the season starts.
Yeah.
John Heyman reported this. Pitchers Team USA recruited but couldn't get. Former Vol Garrett Crochet, ace for the Boston Red Sox.
Yo.
Yankees pitcher Max Fried, World Series champion with the Atlanta Braves. Hunter Brown, the guy that was top 5 in ERA last year for the Houston Astros. Dylan Cease, Sonny Gray, Andrew Abbott, Brian Wu.
Sonny Gray?
Pitchers they recruited but couldn't get.
Wow.
And then they had Tariq Skubal, who pitched against Great Britain in his first start, and then decided to leave the team. Yet he's in the dugout wearing a jersey tonight.
Bro wanted
walking in with Dylan Larkin's game-worn gold medal game jersey or game-worn jersey from the U.S. hockey team. Like, brother, you quit the team, man. You don't get to have the cool gear and the nice walkout and have the Tigers tweet you of like, fire them up. Fire them up to do what? Watch the iPad on the bench? What are we doing? Anyway, it's sad how much the Venezuelan and Dominican players, like Sandy Alcantara was like, if my arm falls off, I don't care. I'm still pitching.
Country over me.
They were all in. The crowds were all in. And meanwhile, we're just sitting here sitting up freaking Aaron Judge, who just, at least he wanted to be there. I guess I couldn't be too critical of him. Just watching heaters right down the middle. Strike. Over and over.
So what I've learned from you in the last year or so, Will, Olympics, America. Will is locked in.
I'm locked in on all of it.
I know.
World Cup, World Baseball Classic, 4 nations.
Yeah, I know. It's hilarious. Your love for country over anybody else in these competitions has been elite.
Not alone.
Yeah, I know you're not, but it's funny to see this in real time because you're like, no, get out there. And I'm with you, man. That's the reason I asked the question, does baseball this next spin around try to become the dream, like legitimately, screw the insurance. I don't care if LeBron is, you remember how like all those guys were old, like they made a pact together. It's like, this is it. We got to go beat the world.
The problem is the lineup was the dream team, and they just didn't deliver. There's not many players you would have put in instead of the different players in the lineup in the batting order. It's the pitching where you could have been better, but the pitching wasn't the issue last night. They lost 3-2. The good hitters just got hit.
Yeah, they do. That's what Venezuela did. They hit balls last night, man.
They only scored 3 runs, but
I know, but
the USA pitching played well enough to win.
They took advantage of guys being on base. Yeah, they did. Venezuela did.
U.S. did not have a single player go past first other than Bryce Harper's home run last night. Ridiculous. Yeah, coming up, another sporting event in Miami. Tonight, big night for Nashville Soccer Club. We'll tell you what you need to know coming up next. Wrap it up, hour number 1 this morning on Ramon and Will. 615-737-1045. Big night tonight for Nashville Soccer Club in Fort Lauderdale, 6 o'clock, FS1 against Inter Miami.
You know why I'm laughing?
What's that?
Because Ron Slay's in our chat, and he's going to be losing his mind.
Good morning, Slay.
We're dedicating this WBC.
Here's the thing. It's
Nashville SC. Let's go.
It's a lose-lose situation because if we spent this time to talk about Tremont Mark's shot with 1.1 seconds left on the clock to beat NC State in the first 4, or Howard taking down UMBC after a ferocious rally late by the Golden Retrievers, then Slay would just be like, "Oh, short segment, end of the hour. I see how it is. You're burying basketball at 6:45. There will be basketball talk as the show continues.
It will.
I understand that Slay is waking up early and hearing not basketball,
non-basketball,
but patience is a virtue.
It is. We got plenty of it, and we got our brackets too.
We do.
Me, you, and Hawk. I got like 4 of them right now.
Yep. All right, we'll talk about that later. We got it one thing at a time.
One thing.
Nashville SC heads into the second leg against Inter Miami scoreless tonight. They outshot Miami 15-8 and 5-1 on goal when these two teams played last Wednesday. They had 7 corners to 0 for Miami. The expected goals were 1.2 to 0.3. A bunch of good saves by Dane St. Clair, some missed chances by Nashville. So here's what's got to happen tonight. Nashville either needs to score and draw in regulation, or they need to win.
You mentioned this last time. 1 goal equals 2, right?
Essentially, it equals 1.5.
1.5. Yeah.
So if you get a goal tonight, then Inter Miami has to beat you because away goals is the tiebreaker. And Miami did not have an away goal last week. Yeah. You shut them out, which was great. And Inter Miami and Lionel Messi only really had 1 shot on target. This is the crown jewel of what Inter Miami cares about. You've got a chance to really hurt them tonight if you're Nashville. Jorge Mas, the man in charge at Miami, Lionel Messi, like their goal is to win the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which qualifies you for the next Club World Cup, which is the tournament that was in the United States last year that was over at Geodis with all the amazing fans and all the different countries that were represented. So you also had that opportunity, Nashville, if you win this tournament. And if you beat Miami, you can beat anybody because Miami is as talented of a team as there is at the top of their roster in North America. Should Nashville advance, they would take on the winner of Club America in Philadelphia. That will likely be Club America, the team that Nashville beat in dramatic fashion in the Leagues Cup that they made the Final 11, played Miami in 2023. That would be in April, but 21st meeting between these two teams in 7 years, and Nashville really has a chance tonight to do something pretty special.
That's pretty cool, man. I remember you mentioned this last time. Now, the issue is going to be, can they keep the same offensive pace on the road down in Miami, correct? And this is also for clarity for the CONCACAF Championship Series as well.
This is the CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Which is weird because I'm looking on ESPN to see if there's a money line on this or whatnot. And like ESPN's not even, I didn't see it on their site or whatever. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong league. But this is where, to your point, Nashville can take that next step and just kind of getting a one-upper on Miami at this point too, Will, is what you're getting at. Will there be a change in game plan, I guess is what I want to get to.
Great question. And that's what I'm interested in. So both these teams rotated their lineups pretty heavily last weekend in MLS play. Miami went to Charlotte. Messi was not even in the squad. Didn't play. Didn't step on the field. Nashville, meanwhile, subbed in all 3 of their designated player attackers, Hani Mukhtar, Sam Surge, and Christian Espinoza, and got a late win against Columbus. But those guys didn't have to play a whole lot. The difference is that I'm going to go from 100 level up to about 250, 300 level here. I'm interested to see how Nashville lines up because they have teetered between a 4-3-3 and a 4-4-2 this season. And against Miami last Wednesday, they were in a 4-4-2. Meaning they were a bit more aggressive. They had 4 forwards on the field, Warren Magical, Hani Mukhtar, Christian Espinoza, and Sam Surridge. And at times, you've seen them play more of a 4-3-3, which takes one of those forwards out and puts a midfielder in.
Okay.
You're able to get more of a grip on the game in midfield. You have more numbers in midfield, but you are a little less aggressive when you do have possession because you have one more midfielder, one less attacker on. You have those midfielders who can attack, but you are setting up to manage the game and give your three forwards the opportunities to attack. You're just one lighter up front. In some of those moments is the simplest way to put it. That's an oversimplification, but that's the simplest way I can describe it.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how Nashville lines up and if they go with the three midfielders together that they have, Patrick Yazbek, who's been playing at an incredibly high level to start the season, Eddie Tagseth and Matt Corcoran, the young player, the U.S. Under-20 World Cup participant last year, who also has been really good to start the season, or if they put in Magical, Mukhtar, Espinoza, and Surridge, and just kind of go for it. Because the game's going to be really open. It's going to be back and forth. It's going to be really entertaining to watch either way. But if you really do go for it and maybe start the game trying to get a goal and get it to 1-1 by the 60th minute or even 1-0 or 2-0, obviously, you'd love to be winning.
Yeah.
Then you can bring on the extra midfielder and kind of play keep away, play defense. I think you've got to go at Miami.
Okay.
And you've got to go down there with the expectation that our best defense is offense. And being clinical with our chances and just taking the game to them, it's risky, but I think it's the way to do it.
You kind of want to open up in football terms, going no huddle.
Yeah, it's just
Five
like
wide.
the better analogy would be let's not just run the ball and play keep away and try to shorten the game.
No doubt.
Let's try to beat them at their own game because I think Miami is vulnerable defensively to where you can get at them a little bit if you manage your passes and don't give up counterattacks when you have chances in the final third.
Okay. No doubt.
It's going to be really fun.
I'm looking forward to it, Dan.
It'll be very fun. 6 o'clock tonight, FS1, Nashville SC, enter Miami, leg 2.
They could win.
They could win.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think Miami has so much more to lose. You're going there, and I think you embrace the underdog role and say, Miami's going to be the story. We don't care about that. They've got all the pressure on them at home. They have said in the media for years, this is the competition they care most about because they want to get back to the Club World Cup where they were not, they were fine. But they wanted an opportunity to play against the world's best, and you can take that away. 6 o'clock tonight, FS1. Another good offensive lineman is off the board of the NFL. Are we sure the Titans' offensive line will be better in 2026 than it was in 2025? That's next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, letting you know, man, that if you have any of these issues, whether it's plumbing, HVAC, or electrical at all, Hiller's the company you need to reach out to, man. I've used them for my outside patio area when it comes down to electrical issues. I've also used them as far as camera setup in my house, too. Of course, with all the smart stuff that we have, I couldn't get up there and wire it the way I needed to. Well, one, I probably don't need to be wiring anything, which is why I reach out to Hiller, y'all. When you call them, the experts, they are going to solve your problems as quick as possible. And the price you tell is the prices you'll actually pay when it comes down to the services they provide to you. There are no hidden fees or surprises on your bill at all. No, absolutely not. You don't stay in business for over 35 years if you're not that trustworthy in the things that you do. They're also family-owned and operated as well. The techs is usually the ladies and gentlemen that'll be coming to your house. A very professional experience and very trustworthy as well. Their motto has been, and they truly do believe this, happy you'll be or the service is free. You guys know it like I do. They believe in 100% satisfaction every single time. To learn more about them or to book with them like I do, simply visit happyhiller.com.
7:03, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Main Kentucky Down studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Dolphins made a big trade yesterday, trading wide receiver Jalen Waddle and a fourth-round draft pick to the Broncos in exchange for their first, third, and late fourth-round pick in this year's draft. The Dolphins, after the trade, have 11 draft picks now in 2026. The Titans, with a couple signings yesterday, re-signing running back Julius Chestnut to a one-year deal. And they're also signing former Chargers offensive tackle Austin Deculus, who started in 5 games last season. The World Baseball Classic last night, Venezuela captures their first title as they stunned the U.S. 3-2. Eugenio Suarez doubled in the 9th inning, sending in the go-ahead run and gave the Venezuelans the win. In college basketball last night, Texas guard Tremont Mark stunned NC State, hitting the go-ahead jumper with 1 second remaining on the clock, giving the Longhorns the 68-66 win. Texas moves on to play BYU tomorrow night, and Howard last night beat UMBC 86-83. They earned the honor to play number 1 seed Michigan tomorrow. And Ryan O'Reilly, he netted the shootout winner as the Nashville Predators go on to beat the Winnipeg Jets 4-3. The Preds return home tomorrow night to face the Seattle Kraken with a 7 o'clock puck drop. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Break it easy once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into hour number 2 on your Wednesday morning edition of Ramon and Will. 615-737-1045. How you jump in? The Jeremiyah Love hype train has left the station weeks ago. It reached another gear, though, yesterday. And we'll tell you why coming up here in 15 minutes. Your comments and thoughts to the F and a Big Chat, the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel, the best place to meet us. YouTube.com/1045 The Zone TV. Yesterday, Ramon, the Houston Texans agreed to a 2-year deal with Wyatt Teller. Veteran guard added to their rebuild offensive line, a deal worth $16 million with a max value of $23 million. For Teller, who has spent 7 of his 8 seasons with the Cleveland Browns. Another good, sorry, buddy. Get ready to learn Houston, Wyatt.
Yeah.
Another solid veteran interior offensive lineman that the Titans cannot sign. Are you worried about the Titans offensive line not getting much better with where we sit today and holes at right guard and maybe at center?
No, not really. The way I see Brian Dable setting his offense up, if he holds true to what the Giants' game plan was for Jackson Dart, remember I told you I'm interested to see if they go more drop back or if they go more play action, move the pocket type of protections. Because if you look at that team from last year, the Giants, if it carries over, I don't necessarily think one-on-one blocks is going to be a part of the game. I don't think drop backs is just going to be a part of the game. I think you're going to see Cam RPO, roll out, be in a position to where the pocket kind of sets itself. You're going to see more of a wall protection together as opposed to 5 individuals blocking. And I think you kind of hide the deficiencies of not having a premier guard or having, the best protection around Cam, because the offense with the misdirection, I think, could play a part in it. I'm saying all this based off of what I saw Brian Dable's team do last year with the Giants. It doesn't ask you to do a whole lot as far as protections-wise go. It is left, right, some dropbacks, but not a ton of exposure when it comes down to guys just being on islands by themselves. Like, I think teams can somewhat set up, one-on-one matchups, and there's going to be either a tackle on either side that have to hold his own. JC will have to hold his own, or you have Dan Moore that have to be good in one-on-one blocking situations. But the incorporation of how they utilize their tight ends, faked you out with the run game, and also timing of passes getting out, I don't think it's a huge ordeal right now. No, this isn't a New England Patriots drop-back offense. This isn't a, Joe Burrow style offense, the way I'm imagining Brian Dable retraining Cam in this one.
Okay.
No, not off top. I could be completely wrong, but I'm saying this blindly because we've yet to see any of the offense. But I used to get mad at teams that did this. Dallas, I feel like, got a lot of praise, and they were really good. They had some great offensive linemen in the era. Terrence Smith, all those guys, right? But they did more slide pro, left, slide right, rollout type of things with the quarterback, of course, at the time, and I didn't think much of it. When you really get down to the nitty-gritty, this is where my pride comes into it. You got to be good in one-on-one block. It's like if you're going 5 wide and your group is out, I want to see 4 of your dudes in one-on-one situations. Is that ideal? No. That's just the pride of me enjoying what pass protections are all about. But with this offense, again, I'm reiterating, I don't know what Dable's going to do as far as this offensive structure and how it moves. But last year's tape with the Giants, y'all just go look at it. Like, you don't see much exposure of guys and just creating a V and doing 4 one-on-ones with a center in the middle. It is a lot of left to right type stuff.
Is it fair to assume that a rookie is going to start at either center or right guard at this point?
I wouldn't go that far with them having as many veterans that they have. No, I wouldn't bank on that one because you would almost kind of have to tell me they're going center or guard in the second or third round.
I think maybe the better point would be rookie / Jackson Slater.
I think in this offense, Jackson Slater can be hidden, especially if you put him between if you put him in between Slody and JC at that point.
Well, so in that case, you're asking Jackson Slater to play right guard?
Yeah.
I think he could be your center.
Jackson Slater? Mm-hmm. I think Slody's your center, personally. But here's the thing. Flip a coin. At that position, just don't mess up the snap.
So we went so quickly from Tyler Linderbaum to this, didn't we?
But the way this offense is set up, again, I don't think Tyler Linderbaum would have benefited much in this offense other than run game and getting out of space. Like, you could pin and pull him around, like he snaps the ball and get around the edge and stuff like that. You have that, but I don't think you have the facilities at running back or the players at running back to allow that type of speed and front side blocking to be a part of this scheme as well. This is, to me, a tight inside zone toss type of team at times. Again, the running backs that you have aren't downhill dudes as much as you want. They're in between the tackle guys when you look at Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears.
And so would Jeremiyah Love.
And Jeremiyah Love.
That. I mean, Jeremiyah Love can do everything.
I mean, his uniqueness is his ability, I think, to be more of a weapon to where he can make the offensive line better than what we've seen Tony do as of late. And I say that with all due respect to Tony.
D. King, King Titan 52 writes in on Twitter, says, last season we thought we'd be set at O-line. High paid right tackle, first left guard, paid center, paid right guard, first round pick right tackle. Maybe we just need a good group of dogs or something like that. Our own Ramon wasn't a first round pick, but was a great NFL player for years. Find and develop those guys.
What's my number? You know it too. It's 3.
You need 3
studs,
premier offensive linemen, and then you can hide the other 2 amongst those 3.
You need them to be above average. You want your 3 to be superlatives. Like, if you can get Dan Moore is expected to be really good. Was he great last year? No, he wasn't great. Peter Skoronski's trending up. JC should grow a whole lot more this year. And also, what I would say about the offensive line last year, the team was a mess. Rookie quarterback that held onto the ball wasn't safe with the ball as well. No real weapons on the outside. Like, I feel like I'm making excuses for the offensive line. What I'm telling you is
part of the context.
There's a lot of context to be added as to why this group looked bad. Teams put blood in the water when it comes down to doggone rookie quarterbacks, and Cam had a lot of red matter in the water with how teams came at him. That also plays a part with no real threat at wide receiver. You had your tight ends as your doggone leading receivers week in and week out with 2 rookie wide receivers that play premier roles. Like, I get where we are with this.
Yeah.
But there's more to be said about how and the whys. Like, we got to be real about that too.
So, I mean, last season, the Titans had 2 above-average offensive linemen, Peter Skoronski and Kevin Zeitler.
Mm-hmm.
Zeitler, you could even argue, was just average. Yeah. He was league average. Dan Moore, I don't think even reached average.
No, not for the contract.
Lloyd Cushenberry did not.
Nope.
J.C. Latham maybe did by the end of the season, but the totality of J.C. Latham's entire season was, at best, average. You're hoping that J.C. Latham makes a jump in year 3, which would do wonders for you. And that would allow you to maybe find a bargain at right guard or take a chance a little bit at right guard. What I don't want to do is put Schlody, as what he's being known now, Austin Schlotman, next to Jackson Slater. I think you got to pick one of those spots to invest. Whether that is a rookie that you find on day 2 or 3, or whether that's someone still out there in free agency, or whether that's just going to get Kevin Zeitler back. I can live with Schlody or Slater at center if you go get Kevin Zeitler at right guard. I can live with a rookie at right guard if you're able to go make a move for a center. What I'm worried about is that with everything else going on, this offensive line isn't going to be better. It is far too early to have major concerns. It's just something on my radar that I think they still need to address. And I imagine they know it as well. Mm-hmm. Because right now they've got two big holes sitting on this offense. And it's center and right guard, and the problem is they are next to each other.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. Worried's probably not the right word. It's March. It's far too early to be really worried about much. I'm interested to see how they solve this problem. That's where I'll go with that.
Mekhi Becton's still no. That wasn't who was with the Chargers. Who was with the Chargers? Big boy.
Mekhi Becton.
Yeah, Mekhi is still out there if you're looking for size.
Nah,
I'm just 1 year rentals because that's what we're asking out of either letting Jack. I would much rather put Jackson Slater at right guard. Take the ball out of his hand.
I mean, Mekhi Becton last season did not look nearly as good as he did the year before.
A lot of injuries, too, with him last year. Well, he was in and out a lot.
He was, and I don't know if he fits the kind of guy they're looking for. I don't know. The vibe I get on Mekhi Becton is that he's one of those that just always finds a way not to play. He's one of those guys that just kind of always has something going on, especially after he got paid.
Yeah.
I'm good on Becton. I'd rather roll with Jackson Slater at right guard than Mekhi Becton. I would.
I take a chance. At a minimum deal, I take a chance on him, on Mekhi Becton, just for the size component of it.
I think he's going to get more than a minimum, though, isn't he? He's still a
year he had.
talented player.
No. No.
He's only 26.
I know, but he's also a battered and bruised 26 as well. I'm taking his number down.
He was the worst run-blocking guard in the NFL among 81 guards on PFF last year.
And that's what I'm going to ask him. Hey, do you want no meal or you want to eat some of this oatmeal in this minimum deal I'm giving you? Oatmeal or no meal?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
I'm putting, if we're keeping it in-house, I'm putting Jackson Slater at right guard and I'm putting Slody at center, just because of the veteran presence. The size also up the middle is something we've spoken about with Cam, creating a wall for him.
Yeah, I could see a world where you do that and you draft your starting center who maybe takes over by week 10.
Are you pleasantly surprised if they take a center guard in the second round, or it's just
second round is too soon for a center for me? Guard, maybe not.
Yeah.
I think there are a couple of guards out there that are tweeners between being tackles or guards that you could get there and kick inside, like a Spencer Fano type guy at a place like that.
The ultimate fall is Caden Proctor to the second.
Well, that's true.
Then we're going to start having a real conversation.
Then we're having a very different conversation because he's got traits and athleticism at his size that, again, like Rand Carthon once said about Devondre Sweat, God didn't make a lot of humans that can do that at that size.
When I see wide tackles, and he's a wide tackle, I think guard until they prove me, because again, footwork and speed is totally different at this level.
Coming up, the Jeremiyah Love hype train is at a whole other level of speed down the tracks to the Tennessee Titans with the 4th overall pick. There is a consensus about what the Titans are going to do, and his name is Jeremiyah Love. We'll talk about it next. What's going on? It's Will Bowling. Is your home's air conditioning ready to keep up with the warmer months ahead? Lee Company has you covered. Maybe you're chuckling. You're seeing how cold it is outside. Like, what are you talking about? Air conditioning right now? Hey, heat wave coming up. It's going to be hotter again. Temperatures in the 80s are right around the corner. And look, it's Middle Tennessee. We're going to get all 4 seasons in a week. this time of year in the month of March. Make sure that you are ready for the weather to heat up again. Lee Company's team of professional technicians, they're going to give your home's AC a tune-up as well as seasonal cleaning and maintenance to help you stay ahead of the heat and humidity. The best time to act on that AC unit is now when the weather's a little bit cooler outside. Don't let it fail this spring and summer. Head on over online to leecompany.com to schedule your appointment today. That's leecompany.com to make sure that your home's air conditioning is ready to keep up with the warmer months ahead. That's Lee Company, all you need. So if you've been locked into NFL draft discussion in Nashville since the NFL Combine, Jeremiyah Love has gone from being a popular name to being the name. Ramon Will rolls on here in hour number 2. 615-737-1045 is the number. Ramon, everyone and their brother and their sisters and their cousins' mock drafts have the Tennessee Titans selecting Jeremiyah Love with the 4th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft.
Yeah.
Mel Kiper had one yesterday saying, we haven't seen a running back go in the top 4 since Saquon Barkley in 2018. The Titans have a long list of issues, even after aggressively spending in free agency. But Tennessee is committed to boosting the offense around second-year quarterback Cam Ward, and Love would take the run game to another level while also serving as a dynamic pass catcher. His game features 4.36 speed, excellent vision, run you over power, and soft hands. In the ringer, Todd McShay. Jeremiyah Love at 4. NFL Network yesterday. Daniel Jeremiah. Jeremiyah Love at 4. Dane Brugler of The Athletic. Jeremiyah Love. Dane Brugler says, an AFC scout for a team that already has an established running back called Love, quote, the best player in the draft. Instead of getting hung up on positional value, the Titans should focus on impact value. And what a talent like Love could not only do for the run game, but the passing game and offense overall. Head coach Robert Saleh spent the last year watching Christian McCaffrey's impact on the 49ers and could see similar potential in Love. How much should we care, Ramon, that in the post-free agency mock draft world, there is a consensus that Jeremiyah Love will be a Tennessee Titan?
There's about 85% at this point, right, that he's going to be one? But
you think it's that strong of a chance?
I personally don't.
Okay.
I personally don't think is that strong.
Taking
of a
away
chance.
what you would pick, because you are on the Sonny Styles side of this.
Yeah, I'm on that side, but I think the way it seems and the way the free agency set itself up to, it lends yourself to think that they have to go heavy offense in the draft. Let your defense roll the boat right now for the next 2 years potentially and let the offense grow up. I think it does. It makes sense. But here's a question I have for you as well, especially with you Khalil Mullins in the building still, correct?
Yes.
Just signed, of course, Julius Chestnut.
Yes.
Tajay still under contract.
Yes.
And Tony Pollard.
Still here.
There will be 5 running backs to one room, which is fine.
Somebody's got to go.
Somebody got to go. I don't know how soon, when that type of move would be made, but that's the reason I'm only giving it a 15%. Taking away 15% from the percentages of Love being here. Do I think this offense needs a dynamic weapon? Yeah. The question you have to ask yourself, if I'm going into that room with the scouts and with the GMs, I'm asking, with these franchise-type quarterbacks, how many running backs, how many years are you expected to get out of it? The questions we've had about the offensive line. How much help does a premier running back need? Because Notre Dame usually have good offensive linemen, whether they're sophomores we don't know about that aren't draftable or they're juniors and seniors that are about to be drafted as well. The strength of the team matters. And I know I've mentioned I think this offensive line will be fine. Will it be elite enough to make Jeremiyah Love look awesome? And that's where I put a pause on the Jeremiyah Love conversation. Because with the premier running backs as of late, Saquon, Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, I don't even know if we can call Jahmyr Gibbs that, because the expectation of where he was taken and the role that he will play is most different. So those 3 dudes, those franchises got out of them at that high draft pick. And I don't think Christian McCaffrey was even that high. No, he's top 10, if I'm not mistaken. You get 4 or 5 years out of him. Is it worth 4 or 5 years to take a running back number 4 overall? I'm only bringing this up to play devil's advocate in this, just to say there's an offensive spark, or will you be fine with Tony Pollard moving forward?
Christian McCaffrey was drafted 8th overall. 8th,
so yes, top 10.
Who's to say you only get 4 or 5 years?
Usually,
why do you have to?
Because that running back position gets beat to hell.
But usually. The guys you're mentioning are still going.
Well, not with their original teams.
But that's their team's fault. Like
it's the same situation.
The Giants could have re-signed Saquon Barkley.
They could have.
The Panthers cashed in on Christian McCaffrey and got a lot for him. Like those guys you're naming still have value. They just have value playing for a different football team who valued them more than the team that they were on.
Absolutely. But the issue that we have is we've spoken about this as well. All of those draft picks have netted their teams not many more wins. The Giants have been cheeks. Atlanta, bad still. Carolina might have had one good year with Christian McCaffrey, bad. And yeah, you got a lot of value out of it as well, but even that didn't help reset the organization after he got traded away. San Francisco benefited from it.
Here's where I am starting to come around on this. What do all those teams have in common you just named?
What do all of them have in common? Bad O-line?
Bad quarterback play.
Yeah, that's true too.
If you believe Cam Ward is the guy to take your team to that next level and lead you to competence, to relevance again, then those guys playing with bad quarterbacks, Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins.
Very true.
Being with Bijan Robinson. Daniel Jones being banged up with Saquon Barkley. The wilderness of quarterbacks that the Panthers waded through with Christian McCaffrey. And they were still decent there at one point with McCaffrey. That, to me, is more the indicator of why those franchises weren't good, more so than, we drafted a running back.
We don't know what Cam is yet.
No, we don't.
Good quarterbacks.
And so that's the point. If you believe enough in Cam, which at this point, I don't see a reason not to believe that Cam is a very talented player with a lot of potential, then give Cam everything he needs to prove himself. Giving Cam Ward Jeremiyah Love helps him meet that potential.
Yeah.
They have done more to shore up the defense in free agency than they have the offense.
Absolutely.
I mean, they still added Wan'Dale Robinson, obviously. They've not just sat in their hands on the offensive side of the ball. But in my opinion, Ramon, the best thing the Titans can do to help Cam Ward this offseason, considering all the other moves that have already been made in the league, is to draft Jeremiyah Love. Other than maybe signing Juwan Jennings, I don't know if there's anything else that would help Cam Ward more. And I still think you could make the argument that drafting Love is more of a benefit to Cam than drafting Juwan, or than signing Juwan, because Juwan Jennings may only be here for a year or two. Jeremiyah Love's going to be here for Cam Ward's entire rookie contract.
This is true.
And potentially beyond at that point.
Yeah.
Dan Orlovsky and Mel Kiper on ESPN yesterday talked about this. Mel Kiper explained why Jeremiyah Love was the pick. Dan Orlovsky added his insight onto why he thought it was the right decision as well.
Mel, Notre Dame's Jeremiyah Love in your latest mock, going number 4 to the Titans. I love this. Why did you put him there?
Why not, Laura, right? Why not? I mean, you talk about Cam Ward developing into a franchise quarterback. Have this guy right in that backfield, and you can put him in a slot. You can put him wide. Touchdown waiting to happen. I always bring up that Tony Dorsett 99-yard scamper against the Vikings on a Monday night. Jeremiyah Love can do exactly that. He can go 70, 80 yards in a blink. This guy is a dynamic player. Love the fact he doesn't fumble the ball. Great ball security, great hands, great young man. Tennessee, you can say it's a luxury pick all you want. It's not. This kid's going to come in right away, help this football team. They made a lot of additions via free agency, made the trade here and there. So the bottom line is you can look at this particular point in the draft and say, well, why not Sonny Styles? And I thought about Sonny Styles, linebacker from Ohio State, but I think Love, too versatile, too valuable. He's the best or second best player in this draft. You're picking 4. That's the kind of guy you got to select at that point.
To be clear, I do not think this is too high for Jeremiyah Love. Dan, do you think that number 4 is too high for him?
No, I've said 3. You can make the case at 3 for Arizona. I love Jeremiyah Love going to Tennessee at 4. And for everybody who's like, don't take a running back early unless he's the final piece, the most important thing in Tennessee this year is for Cam Ward to take a big step and lead into year 3 with the new stadium coming. So they sign Wan'Dale Robinson in free agency, but you now have a back that is a home run hitting back. He's Jamal Charles with a sprinkle of Jahmyr Gibbs, great patience through the hole and then burst. Touchdown waiting to happen, home run waiting to happen. You've got Wan'Dale Robinson, who's a nice slot receiver. You still have Calvin Ridley on the outside that's been a little bit up and down. Where's the dynamic piece for Cam Ward to take the second step at? They spent a ton of money in free agency. That's not the most important thing in Tennessee. Have a good defense, great. That's not going to get anybody excited for your football team next year. What will is Cam Ward taking the next step. The best way for that to happen, put as many good offensive weapons around him. There's no question about it. If he's available at 4, you justify taking him.
Dan Orlovsky and Mel Kiper yesterday on ESPN. Are you persuaded at all there, Ramon?
Oh, no.
I don't like his last reason for the record of this needs to be exciting. There's nothing exciting about the Titans.
Yeah.
You don't build a team based on excitement level.
No.
You build a team based on who the best player is to add the most value to your franchise for the next 5 years plus. We can't be thinking about excitement and whose face to put on the side of new Nissan Stadium when we're making picks.
Facts.
That cannot matter.
Facts.
But I also don't think it does, because I agree with what Mel Kiper says. It's not just that it's a running back. It's that this is the best weapon that you can add to Cam Ward on offense.
I personally, somebody called me out on it too, and it's right. Darius was like, that's a Steeler thing that Ramon doing. It's like, Steelers don't keep running backs long. Bettis was the only one. Franchises always changing. I am a 4 to 5 year running back type of dude. I admit that. Because everybody went. Let me ask you this question: it's always 2 positions you want to play when you start playing football in the backyard. Everybody want to be quarterback or let me run the ball. Usually, like I think wide receiver, because 7-on-7 is probably more popular right now.
Sure,
I get it, but it's usually 2 positions: quarterback and running back. Always is the thing, and that's why also I feel like it hurts it. There's a plethora of guys out there. Whether you're looking for the most dynamic guy, or you looking for a guy that gets the job done, like Kenneth Walker did this past Super Bowl run, right? Like we've seen teams, Isaiah Pacheco being another one of those dudes that gets the job done. I'm not, and I hate that I'm minimizing this position. And I would, I love Jeremiyah Love. Let me clear that up as well. Jeremiyah Love is him. He checks every box when it comes down to it. I just look as far as the way this team has been set up. The longevity of that position, the longevity that in recent history has proven teams are only going to get 4 or 5 years out of them. Meanwhile, if we're talking about, like they said, premium or luxury picks, then to be quite honest with you, you got to be in a position where I feel like this year's a sustainability pick. Get 8 years out of it.
Why can't Jeremiyah Love give you 8 years?
History has shown that position for one team doesn't get 8 years in one spot. A 2-3 contract, first round, top 5 running back has yet to make it to 8 years on one team in today's NFL.
Maybe first round, but the Titans do that.
Huh?
The Titans do that.
The Titans do that with who?
Multiple contracts. Derrick
with
Henry.
CJ? CJ got 6 years here? CJ 2K, Chris Johnson?
Yeah, he got past his because he had a holdout.
He got the extension.
He had a holdout back in 2010 or 2009, and then he re-signed.
To your point, they were picking in the 20s.
He had 6 years here. Eddie George, I don't think you can compare because that's a different NFL.
That's a different era.
That's a run-first league.
I'm just saying the history with the Titans would lead you to say the running back is here to stay.
Nope. I don't agree. Derrick didn't stay his entire career. On top of Derrick was also a second rounder that turned himself into it.
Well, because your point was 8 years.
8 years.
Let's get 7, 8 years, and Derrick Henry had 8 years here.
But as a second rounder, Derrick turned himself into that. We're talking about a top 5 pick, and that was also a more veteran-led team, more established offensive line. Quarterback play got steady. Like, there's a lot that goes into, like, I'm not opposed to Jeremiyah Love being picked here. I just look at where this team has been in the last 4 years.
Sure.
To where that is, I still do feel like a luxury pick to where you could pick a sustainable selection there that gets you 8 years.
Let me ask you this then.
Okay.
Why is inside linebacker not a luxury pick for you since you're wanting Sonny Styles?
Because at that position right there, that is the quarterback of the defense, in my personal opinion. Not the D-line, not cornerback. It's the inside linebacker. When you find a real good one at that position that can be there and honestly don't run into the injury issues that a running back could run into as well, you have an off-ball linebacker that sets the tone for almost everybody on that defense. Again, I don't know if the Titans feel the same way I do about Sonny Styles. But if we're looking at a defensive guy and Robert Saleh that always have to have his field general in the middle of that defense, it tracks.
The way you feel about you could always go find a running back is the way I feel about inside linebacker.
Facts. I love this for us.
Because Devin Lloyd just signed with the Carolina Panthers, and you can go get a premier top of market inside linebacker for $10 to $15 million a year any year that you want one within reason. This year was a good year for needing an inside linebacker. Tremaine Edmonds sitting right there. Solid. So I think I could make the same point that you're making about running back. Well, you can always go find one if you need one in free agency and not break the bank. I think the same is true for either position. Who brings you more value, though, to your most important commodity? To me, it's the fact that Jeremiyah Love plays with Cam Ward. That breaks the tie. Because I agree with you on Sonny Styles also. I'd be great with Sonny Styles at 5 or at 4. I think this team needs good football players who you are confident are going to be good. Sometimes I think it's that simple. But it's the fact that I think Cam Ward more directly benefits from playing with Jeremiyah Love more so than he does with Sonny Styles, and his development depends on him having a premier weapon to take pressure off of him.
I ride with you there. I'm not opposed to it. I'm giving you my stance as to why I would pick a different selection. If he's here and he does check the box as far as being an explosion piece they need for the offense, we're going to have a great time covering on this show. I zero opposition to it other than the fact of stating my case as to why you should be even about this selection.
Right. And I think you are a perfect example of what our listeners and Titans fans need to embrace. Don't just fall in love with one guy.
You'll hate the other guy that you select.
I get that last year was unique. You're the number one pick. Nobody can take somebody in front of you. Cam was it. We all fell in love with Cam. That's great. I love that. I don't think we should act that way with the 4th overall pick because we don't need to Joel ourselves again. And then you have to end up talking yourself into somebody else once the player you really want goes. Because there's still a world where Arizona drafts Jeremiyah Love at 3 or somebody moves up in front of you to take Jeremiyah Love if he's loved that much, no pun intended. So this whole, it's Jeremiyah Love no matter what, I think is the wrong way to do NFL draft talk. Coming up, Easton Freeze wrote about this at ADCSports.com. He's calling his shot and going on the record that he would be floored if Mike Borgonzi took Jeremiyah Love over this one player. I'll tell you who that is coming up next. Talking about moving in real estate is stressful. Maybe you're going through the process right now. I just said the word moving and your anxiety levels spiked a little bit. For Steven and his wife, life was about to change in a big way. In July of 2025, they found out they were expecting their first child and realized it was time to upgrade to a bigger home. The couple started searching for a place they could grow into for the next several years, but then something unexpected happened. Steven's wife found their dream home on the outskirts of Goodlettsville, and the competition was intense. I'm here to tell you that Bernie Gallerini Real Estate, they move fast for Steven, and they can move fast to help you as well. With expert guidance and the right strategy, Steven and his wife secured the home they truly wanted. That was only half the story. Bernie Gallerini Real Estate then helped them sell the previous home, timing things perfectly so they closed with a full month to spare before the baby arrived. The experience couldn't have been better for Steven, and it couldn't be any better for you as well. Bernie Gallerini is the real estate agent who guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. Check him out online at BernieGallerini.com. 615-428-2644 is the number. That's Bernie Gallerini Real Estate, 615-428-2644. Wrapping up hour 2 on your Wednesday morning, Ramon and Will. Voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, going to stop by in a half hour talking Tennessee NCAA tournament up in the city of brotherly love. Your thoughts to the F&M Big Chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. So Easton Freeze of A to Z Sports Ramon is calling a shot.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I will go on the record yesterday at atozsports.com/Nashville. Says, I will go on the record and say that I would be floored if Mike Borgonzi took Jeremiyah Love over Arvell Reese, should he be so lucky to have that choice. He says, unless he has a crazy outlier grade on one or both of these players, that decision would fundamentally change what I think I know about how the Titans GM rolls. Easton goes on to say, to me, Reese is the best of the bunch at edge, and his upside at a premium position would be the decision Borgonzi makes. But also, and most importantly, this is easily the least likely of the possible scenarios. So what about Bailey and Bain, who very well may be on the board at 4? He's kind of with you that maybe he's not the biggest David Bailey fan compared to the way some others talk about him.
Yeah.
Not to say you don't like him.
No, this is not that I don't.
But you're not totally in love with him.
No, I'm not, because at first, before free agency set up, I didn't know if this team was built for a premier one-trick pony rusher. He's not Robert Saleh won't what, though? He wants guys that can play the run and also get after the pass. David Bailey can't play the run well right now.
Easton goes on to say, Ruben Bain is the real question here. And the way things have been trending in the last month, I'm inclined to say they probably would take Love in this quite plausible scenario. All the tea leaf readings and fit considerations are leaning towards Love being in and Bain being out. But then again, this Love mania is as loud as ever over a month before draft day. Will it keep up until then or fade as a narrative fad? Only time and more digging will tell.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting. And moves have to be made as well. Like I said, you'll have a running back room if they do take Love with 5 guys. Now, which one of those are you cutting? I guess the most obvious choice would probably cut Tony. Do you really? Or do you cut Tajay? Like, I know some people saying just trade Tajay. I don't know if there's a trade value there that's going to satisfy what you're looking for. I mean, yeah, you can get another 7, of course, but you also lend yourself to keep asking the question, well, what if Tajay pops? What if he pops? And
Could you trade Pollard?
Would I trade Pollard?
Could you?
Could you? I personally don't think at this point. No.
You think it's like a pick swap kind of situation if you traded Tony?
Tony? No, I don't think you can trade Tony. I think you
think there's no value for him on the trade market?
I don't know, trade market, not for no, I don't.
Okay.
Personally.
I
can be wrong.
I think there's always a deal to be done within reason. Not always, but he's still a 1,000-yard rusher.
He was. We also calculated that, too. It's only like 60-some yards a game.
Yeah.
In today's NFL.
No, fair point. I'm just asking the question, could you trade him?
Trade Tony for a 5th is what somebody said in the chat.
No.
Sold.
I don't know about all that.
Sold. Okay.
Yeah, if you're offered a 5th, you sprint and say.
You take that deal.
Yes, please.
Absolutely. Love can make sense here.
Yeah.
Ain't no other way around it. He can. It's loud, the conversation around him. I think there just needs to be balance as to what you're asking for.
I agree.
If you take Love.
That I agree with. So, who is in the pot of who you would like at 4? Who is, of the options that we've got? Tell me if you're okay with picking this player or not with the 4th overall pick. Jeremiyah Love. I think we're both yes.
Yes.
David Bailey. I'm okay with it still. That's still a premier edge rusher.
No.
Okay. Ruben Bain Jr.
Now? No.
Yeah. Okay. I'm still good with Bain. Arvell Reese.
Yeah.
Definitely. So that's 4 players for me, 2 for you.
Yeah.
Sonny Styles, we're both yeses.
Yeah.
That's 5
for me, 5 for you.
Caleb Downs? I'm
Not
out.
anymore.
No.
Not anymore.
I'm good. Francis Maui Noah?
Yeah. Stability of that pick.
No for me.
No for you.
Yep.
Oh.
I already have a right tackle who could kick inside a guard. I don't need another one.
This is true.
We have Francis Maui Noah at home, and he's going into year 3. His name's J.C. Latham.
Year 3. You're right. I say yeah, though, because in this draft, with what you need, there's a glaring hole at right guard.
Cardell Tate?
Because of what the draft provides, yeah.
No for me.
I wasn't on it at first, but with what this draft has, yeah.
If Jordan Tyson had been more healthy in his career, I'd be down for him at 4. Because that guy's got wide receiver 1 upside. I think Cardell Tate projects as a really good wide receiver 2. And I'm not willing to select a good wide receiver 2 with the 4th overall pick.
Understood.
Jordan Tyson could be a 1. Jordan Tyson's just had a lot of injuries. We'll talk receivers with Red at 9.
Right.
More about that. But
Right.
that's kind of where I'm at.
Are you willing?
I think,
okay,
it's,
last
I think
option.
it's 4 or 5 guys. Go ahead.
You willing to trade back if presented?
I'm always willing to listen.
Okay, you listen.
I just don't see that as realistic considering the lack of second quarterback for someone to move up and get.
Okay.
We love trade backs. Trade backs always sound even nicer than
like
skill
Christmas.
players do.
Yeah, it's like
right.
Christmas. It's like
How many
Easter.
picks?
I can go get a golden egg.
But then when you ask the follow-up question of what is somebody trading up for, I have no answer in this draft.
For sure. No doubt.
Unless it's Love. But again, like if Love's that good for someone to trade up to 4 with to go get, you should just take
You
it.
should just take them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got each got about 4 or 5 players we're good with at this point.
Might have said Diego.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. Here, you know what? Yes, I am.
Yeah, you are.
The 4th overall pick. I'm not taking Diego Pavia with a 4th round pick.
You couldn't help it, yeah.
The only team that would take Diego Pavia with a 4th overall pick is the Birmingham Stallions. 615-737-1045. We got contract details on Calvin Ridley. I've got good news and great news on Calvin Ridley's revised contract with the Titans after this.
Oh, the off-air conversation is so much better, Will. We might have to do that one day. But either way, let me tell you guys about something you need to be doing, man. You need to be getting over to a Center Jackson Low T Center because they've been highlighted for having the highest quality testosterone on the market. They only use pharmaceutical-grade testosterone, y'all. Never the compounded testosterone. So you know what's going on or going in your body. Don't settle for the compounded mystery testosterone at all. Go with the safer, smoother TRT with real human providers at Center Jackson Low T Center. Yes, when you walk into the building, there'll be some human there to greet you, to talk to you. Even when you go to the back rooms, there's somebody there that you can talk about how you feel, where you want to go, and what's needed next for you. It's not just some monitor up front where you check in, check out, they send you. No, absolutely not. At Center Jackson Low T Center, they're dose their TRT more frequently than other clinics, and make sure your testosterone levels are always optimal, y'all. I'm telling you, and they don't dip below the line. This keeps your side effects in check and just makes you just overall healthy. Listen to me. This year, get over to Center Jackson Low T Center, or you can just simply go to their website at getmyhealthfix.com. That is getmyhealthfix.com.
8:02, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Dolphins with a big trade yesterday, trading wide receiver Jalen Waddle and a fourth-round draft pick to the Broncos in exchange for their first, third, and late fourth-round pick in this year's draft. The Dolphins now have 11 picks in 2026 draft. Per Adam Schefter this morning, teams have called the Dolphins to inquire about trading for Pro Bowl running back Devon Achane, but have been told that he is not available. The Titans made a couple signings yesterday in re-signing running back Julius Chestnut to a one-year deal. They're also signing former Chargers offensive tackle Austin Deculus, who started in 5 games last season. College basketball last night with the first 4. Texas guard Tremont Mark stunned NC State, hitting the go-ahead jumper with 1 second left and giving the Longhorns a 68-66 win. Texas will play BYU tomorrow night. And then Howard beat UMBC 86-83. They will play number 1 seeded Michigan tomorrow. Tonight, 5:40 on True TV, Prairie View A&M takes on Lehigh for the final 16 seed, and they at 8:15 Miami of Ohio will take on SMU for the final 11 seed. They'll play Tennessee on Friday. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show off and running on your Wednesday edition of Ramon Will. Available wherever you get your podcasts at 10 o'clock from 6 to 10. We're live on Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Mike Keith stops by in 15 minutes to preview Tennessee's opening weekend of the NCAA tournament as the Vols head up to the Northeast to the city of brotherly love. Mm-hmm. I'm curious if Mike needs cheesesteak recommendations, because I've got them for him.
Man, listen, you can drop 1 or 2 of them too if you want to. I see nothing wrong with that.
I mean, he's called Titans-Eagles games, so he could probably teach me, honestly, a thing or two. But going up there every year for the Penn Relays, I have become a cheesesteak aficionado. I always try a different place up there every year.
As a player, I missed out on those trips.
Oh,
you just time constrained for the most part, or guys don't want to go to just the local stuff. They want the nice steakhouse just to see the rookies pay the exuberant amount of money.
And that's the beauty of what we do now. I used to always think when I was running, and again, we're talking like 10th class travel compared to the first class of NFL and college football. So I'm comparing apples and oranges a little bit. But I would always think to myself, Ramon, I got to find a way to do these trips and do this sports thing without having the stress or also the health concerns of, I got to eat something healthy. Or I got to go get pasta and all these things. And we've done exactly that. we now have the ability to enjoy these trips and do sports. And I'm going to go get a greasy cheesesteak from Angelo's and enjoy my life.
I will say, when I was with Titans Radio, we what is it, Mama Memphis in Houston?
Memphis in Houston, Ramon.
It was a time
that is the best Mexican food that I have had in my life.
It's fine.
There is not a close second.
Free shout out because they're not here.
Mama Ninfa can get all the free shout outs she wants. It is the birthplace of the fajita.
No.
It's the birthplace of the fajita.
Amazing.
And the, what is it? The whatever kind of queso flameado they have there, where they do like their queso fundido and they wrap it in homemade flour tortillas for you.
Feel it. You ready to end the show?
I'm going to have some fajitas today. They're not going to be as good. Zach Lyons tweeting this out a couple of minutes ago on details for Calvin Ridley's contract reduction. So his cap hit, Ramon, goes from $26.45 million to $15.2 in 2026. The overall cash goes from a little under $22 million to $13 million. So $5 million of Calvin Ridley's original 2026 base salary was turned into a prorated bonus split over 26 and 27 evenly. He then took an $8.75 million pay cut overall, but Calvin still got his $2 million roster bonus for each year. So here's the good news. His cap hit went down $11 million for this year. Mm-hmm. Here's the great news. If he was cut after this year, you gain $22.5 million of cap space. So this is why when we talk about why players don't always love restructured contracts, it makes them easier to cut in the future. So Calvin Ridley's cap hit next year just went up $2 million, but his dead cap money would only be $7.5 million. If you cut him next year, you'd save $22.5 million.
It's not bad.
So it's the last dance with Calvin Ridley in 2026.
What we called it. It's exactly what we called when it came down to how he was going to be able to stay on this team. Like I use this saying, like, what do you want, oatmeal or no meal? Like at that price point, what was his number? I'm trying to find him again. Well, this year his salary he got $2 million as a bonus.
His cash this year is $13 million. His cap hit is 15.2.
It's fine. That's the number we were talking about.
Yeah, like if he was out there as a free agent receiver, he's getting what? Maybe 2 for 20?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Might get, and that probably turn in like 12 guaranteed.
I mean, he'd probably be more likely to take a 1 for 10 and try to prove he can still play and then go run it back again or find a contender that would make it work.
I salute Calvin because that's not an easy decision to make professional. Like, yeah, it is when you say, I'd rather play ball, right? But as far as saying, man, I'm going to strip myself of $6 to $8 million when you promised me this contract. But there's also the other side of it as well, the business side. Like Calvin, I'm sure, and the Titans may have felt dirty about it. The Titans probably wanted more money back. And Calvin probably didn't want to give up that much, but like that's a business deal where you have to consider your career and also your reputation as well. I hate it for Calvin, and I will say this to the fan base, and I know you don't care, but like you got to commend a guy that falls on the sword like this when he understands the position that he's in. I ain't saying that makes him a great teammate or a better person because, heck, he's still getting millions of dollars. But when you look at the opportunity he's allowing the Titans to have on this one, man, you got to commend it to him. As we said before last week, Calvin wasn't a bad teammate or a bad representative of the Tennessee Titans in general. No. It's just that his play hadn't lived up to the numbers that his contract provided.
Yeah, too many footballs hitting the ground early in the season and then an injury that is out of his control that happened in the middle of the season in Week 11.
He had to make this move.
I think so, too.
He had to. He didn't hold a lot of cards. I couldn't imagine Will being like, y'all owe me 25. No, we're going to strip that on down, sir.
I do think it's interesting, too. Easton's written at A to Z that this move was allowed to happen because the Titans did not get Tyler Linderbaum. He wrote over the weekend, like, my understanding, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But the gist of the report is it was going to be difficult to make Tyler Linderbaum's contract fit and any kind of Calvin Ridley contract fit. So this is what they pivoted to. Yeah. Who knows how 100% black and white it was. I think that makes sense, though, to say that you have the luxury of keeping Calvin now because you didn't go spend $27 million a year on a center.
The Linderbaum thing, like it's a great fantasy to live, but at $27 million, I don't think you're in a position to be playing that type of game.
No, I agree.
It would have
been nice.
Very nice.
I think, though, you've got to be confident about upgrading on Lloyd Cushenberry being a foregone conclusion with the way you kind of released him during the combine. Like, you don't do that with just one player in mind.
No.
You don't do that to say, all right, Linderbaum, and that's who we're going to go get. Like, you do that knowing, like, even if we have to settle for a guy we're going to draft, that guy's going to come in and be more of a positive impact on Cam than what Lloyd Cushenberry gave Cam last year, as he also failed a physical on his way out.
He did. You're right. That was a bold move to make. I would guarantee almost nobody at the combine imagined the center number going up that far. I honestly look at this as almost like the Adrian Peterson contract. Like every running back since AP or AD has been chasing the $14+ million that he got, and no running back's gotten above that number. I wonder for the center market, is this the settler when it comes down to where the market threshold is for premier centers? Like, if anybody goes above this number playing center in the NFL, I'll be shocked. I'll be very shocked.
Yeah, the goal would be go draft somebody who you feel like can be that eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a world where they find the best rookie center out there, or it's Logan Jones from Iowa. It's the kid from Kentucky. You got Sam Hecht sitting out there at Kansas State. Connor Lew coming off the injury at Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be opposed to that either. Again, if this team feels like it's rebuilding, if you believe Connor Lew would be a second or early third-round pick if he was healthy, coming off a torn ACL last year, go draft him in the 4th or 5th and throw Austin Schlottmann out there.
Seriously.
Because you feel comfortable with Schloty, probably.
Yeah. And the question goes, well, how do you plan on this year to go as a team? You know,
it's a great question. How important is it to be relevant in 2026?
No doubt.
At the expense of long-term moves.
I would bet Coach Sala wants to be a forward progressive team.
Sure.
And as far as wins and losses go, but the reality of what you're facing and up against is a different conversation as well. Also, knock axe. It was injury for Cushenberry failed, right? Physical.
Yeah, he was released
knows,
with injury designation. Pull up the official wording on it.
Yeah, which is interesting because I wonder if he had also failed the exit meeting physical before he left town, too.
I don't know.
You got to leave with a physical as well.
Yeah, left the team with a failed physical designation.
Okay. Which means he basically gets time to rehab. If, let's say, the season starts and he's still not healthy, the Titans might be on the hook for some money to be paid out because they can't officially release him because he was injured under their watch unless they do an injury settlement as well.
Okay.
But he should be healthy over the summer.
Voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, previews NCAA tournament action for Tennessee after this.
It's truck month at Two Rivers Ford, and that means 0 money down, 0% financing, and 0 payments for 90 days. But only at Two Rivers Ford do you get 0 surprises and 0 pressure. You see, Two Rivers Ford, they do things a little differently than most dealerships. For starters, they have a non-commissioned sales team, so their salespeople are paid whether you buy a truck or not. So you can go ahead and ask all the questions, take all the test drives, but also check out the F-150, the Super Duty, the Maverick, the Ranger. Truck month is all about you. And at Two Rivers Ford, you'll find the real price online every time. They don't add a bunch of accessories or add-ons that you don't know about until you get to the dealership. They pride themselves on honesty and transparency like they have for over 4 decades. And by the way, Two Rivers Ford has one of the best inventories of Ford trucks in the Southeast, period. There's Ford Truck Month, and then there's Two Rivers Ford Truck Month. So get to the South's most trusted Ford dealer for the best prices of the year on the best-selling trucks in America. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Local, honest, real. Two Rivers Ford.
Sopranos music on Ramon and Will can only mean one thing. We talk with the voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, this morning. I always feel like I got to talk in like a hushed tone when I hear this music. Like we're getting ready. We're excited. We're excited for the NCAA tournament. Vol Network coverage here in the Zone on Friday as well for Tennessee and the winner of SMU and Miami of Ohio. Mike Keith joins us to discuss it this morning. Mike, good morning. How are we feeling ahead of a first NCAA tournament? Where are the excitement levels here on this Wednesday morning?
Take it to 11. Take it to 11, Will Bowling. It's really exciting, and obviously we're going to be watching tonight at 8:30 to see this game, to see what SMU and Miami of Ohio look like. They're going to have a challenge because they're going to finish playing this basketball game around midnight Eastern time, and then they're going to have to fly to Philadelphia, and we play at 4:25 Eastern time, 3:25 Central time on Friday afternoon. And so you would figure whichever team it is, Tennessee has an advantage. But, you've got to take advantage of that advantage. You've got to get them early, put them in a position where you've got the lead and they're chasing you, and maybe those legs aren't there enough for them to be able to climb up the hill. And that's what the NCAA tournament is all about. If a 14 beats a 3, then nobody remembers that you beat a 14. They just know you went to the Sweet 16. Whatever happens, it's ultimate basketball survival. Every advantage you have, you've got to make the most of it. And that's what Tennessee's going to try to do. They're going to try to come out of Philadelphia with 2 victories and get to Chicago next Friday.
Mike, what are the lessons you think this team learned from an SEC tournament, a win and a loss, some positives, some negatives? What is the overall takeaway, in your opinion, Mike, for this basketball team as they get a taste of tournament play and now head into the big dance?
I think there are really 4 things. Number one, how much better they are with Nate Ament. Just the difference that he makes, it's incredible. It's why you believe this team has an opportunity to make a run in the tournament, because they've got one of the top players anywhere. And to see that impact in the Auburn game with the 20-0 run, it just reinforces it. The big thing for me is that Nate Ament is going to have to start in this tournament from the jump. Can't have a first half with 2 points. Can't have a first half with him not shooting free throws. They need Nate Ament in the last 8 minutes from the first minute of the game. And you know what I'm talking about. We've seen him close out teams in the last 8 minutes of games with fantastic performances. They need that from the start. I think another encouraging thing that Tennessee saw is Jacoby Gillespie very quietly played his best game in a long time, offensively and on the defensive end against Vanderbilt. He shot over 50% from the field for the first time in 8 weeks. He ran the offense. He played good defense. He was under control. I think that's something that Tennessee can take forward. On the negative side, Tennessee's turnovers have absolutely killed them throughout the year. They cannot have possessions where they don't get shots. And that's a key in all of this. When they turn the ball over and they don't get a shot, it's doubly crushing, because if they get a shot and they miss it, they oftentimes rebound it themselves. Tennessee has one of the top 5 highest offensive rebounding percentages in college basketball in the last 25 years. They're historically good. So turnovers just really kill them, because they don't get the opportunity to put the ball in the basket once and maybe even 2 or 3 times. Finally, I think the other thing for the Vols is they've got to make the shots near the rim. They've been missing too many shots inside of 5 feet. The offensive rebound total is fantastic. You want to keep it up. You're playing potentially against some teams that don't do that as well as you do and that have rebounding problems. If it's Miami of Ohio, it could be a huge factor, but you got to score. You can get the ball 3 times on your end, but if you don't put it in the basket, who cares? So those are the things that stand out for me the most about this team.
No doubt. We're joined by Mike Keith this morning, voice of the Vols. Mike, thanks for joining us today, man.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. With that being said, watching those guys live, and I've seen them a couple times now too, I feel like the Vols bigs, they invite physicality. So much so to your point that they overdo layups. They move in a way in which it seems like they're expecting contact all the time because they give it, and everybody knows that, hey, you want to call them SEC defensive ends, but it also causes fouls. J.P. Estrella, of course, and Felix Akpara. Of course, when you look at Jalen Carey, those three guys right there seem to either get in foul trouble or causes themselves harm by their physicality. That's something that needs to be looked at going into this tournament, to not necessarily overdo the physical side of it, or is it just in their DNA?
I think it's in their DNA to a certain extent. I also think that it plays more toward the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
Rick Barnes told me when was it? I guess it was Monday. He told me, he goes, the difference in regular season and conference tournament play and NCAA tournament play is physicality. They're going to let it go. And he said, I don't think that's necessarily right, but that's the way tournament games are played. And so with that being the case, I think Tennessee is in a position that they're probably going to be well served in that area. Let me go back to the first thing you said, though, about missing the shots in close because they're, trying to draw contact or whatever. Estrella has some real gifts around the basket. Yeah. He's a very talented offensive big man. You don't find many of those in college basketball anymore. Akpara, pretty good. We certainly like seeing him on the alley-oops. Carey has had just a really tough year. You worry that it's in his head because he's trying to go fast so that all the defenders don't rush to him, but he goes too fast and doesn't put it up well. I'd like to see Brown shoot more. I think Brown has a nice touch on the inside. But I think for the Vols, what I'm interested to watch is, do they go small in the NCAA tournament? Meaning, do they put Amari Evans on the floor with Gillespie, Boswell, Ament, and one of the bigs? And then they can rotate bigs through in a way in which they need them. And they can certainly go two bigs at a time at different points in the game. But do they do that for more offensive punch and potentially to spread the floor a little more, where those bigs have the opportunity to get open and go more one-on-one in the paint? I'm going to be watching that very carefully. I don't know anything, but Rick Barnes alluded to that early in the season after Cade Phillips went down. They've done it some. The question is, what's your best lineup right now? What is your money in the bank lineup right now? That's what you have to go with.
No doubt. What's also fascinating, too, is watching Nate Amit's game this year. As you said, he went 1 for 13 from the field this past game against Vanderbilt in the SEC tournament, but his ability to score while the clock is stopped is unique, and I think that's going to be something that has to your point, as far as the physicality goes during the tournament, that part of his game, I think, is needs to take the front seat moving forward if he's not knocking down the three ball or to pull up the way he wants to or not finishing. Mike, how cool has it been to watch him get to the free throw line and keep his game flow going as well this year?
For a broadcaster to see great young talent and to know what's going to happen with him when he goes to the NBA, it's an honor to call his games. And I think he is going to be so special in the league because he's been taught at Tennessee how to play the three position. And that's what he was promised. He was promised, if you come to Tennessee, we'll develop you and play you as a three so you'll be ready for the next level. I think one thing that I'm concerned about is I want to see him shooting free throws in the first half. I don't want all the free throws to come, again, in the final 8 minutes. Take it to the rack and see if you can get fouled. The other part of it, too, that I think is really key, Ramon, is everybody says Tennessee's got to make layups. True. Tennessee can't turn the ball over. True. Tennessee's got to make their free throws. Yeah, that's true. But it's also a key, and one of the reasons that I want to see Ament shoot free throws in the first half is Gillespie and Ament are good free throw shooters. Nobody else really is. And that's not going to change because we're in the NCAA tournament. So one of the keys for the Vols is who shoots the free throws in March, in this opportunity in Philadelphia and hopefully beyond. That's something you hope they're going to be able to do, that it's a lot of Gillespie and Amen at the line and not a lot of the bigs. They'll be there some because bigs always get fouled. But, hey, if Amen can get double-digit free throw attempts and Gillespie can do something like that, I mean, if they could have 20 free throw attempts between them, I don't see how Tennessee loses.
Voice of the Ball is Mike Keith, our guest this morning on Ramon and Will. Mike, from the broadcaster perspective, I imagine it's challenging being ready for such a quick turnaround yourself for either Miami of Ohio or SMU. And as you learn about the two potential opponents for Tennessee up there in Philadelphia in the first round, what stands out about the different ways those two teams would match up with and challenge Tennessee?
Well, I think the difference realistically is just overall athleticism. You've got a team that plays great basketball, and then you've got a team of great athletes who play basketball. And Miami of Ohio is a team that 10 of their 13 players have been homegrown. They've been with Travis Steele. His first 2 years at Miami of Ohio, he had losing records. Last year, 25-9. And this year, 31-0 to start the year. They have a lot of confidence. They know how they want to play. They like to take it up and down. But if you can get them in a game that's very much half court, they're going to have a hard time. And that's what I think SMU is going to try to do tonight, because SMU has Boopie Miller. They have B.J. Edwards. I mean, they've got several guys. Pierre, who's been at 4 different schools, who's a really good player. They have a ton of athleticism. And it's going to be an interesting contrast in styles in terms of the sizes and the matchups. The other part of it, too, multiple 7-foot options for SMU, and that's not something that Miami of Ohio has dealt with very often. So in the contrast in styles, in learning about both, I think it's been most fascinating to me to sort of prepare for this game tonight, to see exactly which style is going to win out. SMU did not have B.J. Edwards the last 5 games. So they're 20-13. You're saying, that's not very good. Well, had they had him, they'd probably have a couple more wins and you'd be more impressed with them.
Mike, I know you are in full basketball mode as we are as well, but of course, spring practice getting started this week too. I'm curious, as you look from the broad perspective at what has been a really interesting offseason already for Tennessee and Josh Heupel, what to you, Mike, is the most interesting non-quarterback battle storyline of spring practice?
To me, it's the secondary. What is this secondary going to look like under Derek Jones and Anthony Poindexter and Jim Knowles? Because the secondary didn't play very well last year. Now, they had moments. I mean, certainly Colton Hood had good moments. Ty Redmond had moments. But as a unit, they did not play well. Some of that was caused by not having Jermod McCoy. Some of that was, caused by Ricky Gibson getting hurt early. Some of that was caused by all of the Boo Carter stuff. They never found consistency there. What's the secondary going to look like? Who's going to play? What does a nickel back look like in Jim Knowles' system? Is it another safety? Is it another corner? Do they have a player like Boo Carter who really is a nickel, that he is that position? That's, to me, the most fascinating part, because they have returnees and they have a lot of newcomers having to learn a lot of names in the secondary, but where do the pieces fit? Because I think they're going to be good up front. Their linebacking core is something else. Oh my God. I mean, they've got all kinds of depth. I think they're going to be able to rush the passer. I'm really excited about Ethan Utley and Isaiah Campbell and some of the young players in the defensive line. I think they'll be fine there. My question is, can the secondary be better? Because that cost Tennessee a chance at the playoff last year in terms of their defensive problems.
Mike, I will bring up the quarterback position because I think it's super unique, man. Other than weight information that comes in daily, how much does George McIntyre weigh? Way, how exciting is this, though? Two guys that could, start. And it's a flip of the coin depending on how much they can pick up the offense, Mike. But I feel like Knoxville media is there every day just eyeballing those two guys. How do you see this going?
And Ryan Staub.
That's very true.
Keeping an eye on him as well because he's a veteran player that if they falter, he could take over. GMAC is handling himself like the starting quarterback.
Okay.
In his media session, he handled himself like the starting quarterback. He's running things. He's in command of things. If you watch practice last year, especially late in the year, the guy who spun the ball the best was George McIntyre. George McIntyre is an incredible natural talent at the quarterback position. He's been well coached. He's really smart. He's obviously very, very athletic. I talked last week on the broadcast about how he and Tyler Tanner at Brentwood Academy were a pretty good pair, George's sophomore year and Tyler's junior year. George is sneaky good athletically. I like his edge, too. He likes to compete. And I'm a full believer in George McIntyre. I was all of last year as well. Based on Brandon, all of the stuff you've heard is true. Really special athlete who's been well coached, has a quick release, a very good arm. The footwork is there. I mean, he's not an athlete playing quarterback. He's a quarterback, and he's a quarterback who is a special athlete. Obviously, we haven't had a chance to see his legs yet because, they haven't been doing those sorts of things in practice where the quarterback's going to run around. But, I mean, who knows how he is going to end up playing quarterback at the University of Tennessee? What I can say is the eye test that everybody talked about, he meets that and exceeds it.
Wow.
I like it. Voice of the Vols, Mike Keith with us this morning, covering a little bit of spring practice and, of course, basketball. Mike, obviously you've done Titans games in Philadelphia. Are you a cheesesteak person? Is there a go-to place that ends up on the schedule for this weekend?
I mean, Pat's is probably the place that I know. I would probably favor a pretzel more.
Okay.
Because I like a good pretzel.
I like it.
The vendors, too, have great cheesesteaks. You don't have to go to one of the Philadelphia chain stores to get a good cheesesteak in Philly. So I got my first one in the summer of 1981. And so it's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. The food, the food up and down the Northeast is just special.
It's fantastic.
I mean, you go to New Haven, Connecticut and have their pizza and it's different. Obviously, I mean, there's just so much. Baltimore with the seafood, New York City, I mean, you can get anything you want. And you think about the Italian food at different places throughout the Northeast. I like to dive into the cuisine, but I don't know where we're going to be in relation to getting any of that. We'll be pretty much bunkered down. I can't say in football and basketball season I have gotten to venture out to a lot of spots.
Right.
Mike, I wasn't ready for the summer of 1981 drop from you this morning.
I love it.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah, Dad took us on a trip up there. He was calling on businesses and took us along, and he took us to some good spots. My dad was a guy who he went off the beaten path. He knew every greasy spoon and every street vendor because my dad wouldn't fly, so he drove everywhere.
Okay.
He would not fly. And so he drove everywhere. And so, I mean, he knew every great spot. And he's passed that love to me of, finding holes in the wall. And diners, drive-ins, and dives is like my jam big time.
Voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, joining us this morning. Tennessee taking on the winner tonight of SMU at Miami of Ohio. Of course, you'll be able to hear it right here, courtesy of the Vol Network. Have a good call this weekend, Mike.
Yes.
Hope it's a long and successful one for you guys at the Vols. Appreciate the time as always.
Thanks very much. See you guys.
Yes, sir. Mike Keith with us here this morning. Yeah, it's awesome.
If you're gonna have a family, you definitely got to road trip that thing.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really cool right there.
Philadelphia's a cool city. I like it a lot.
I never got to explore it like that either.
It's really fun.
You brag about Philly. You enjoy Philly is what I would say. You enjoy
do.
Philly.
It's become a yearly pilgrimage for me, the weekend of the draft, actually. Every spring to broadcast the Penn Relays at Franklin Field. And I try to go to a different cheesesteak place every year, and it is so much fun.
The way you talk about Philly is the way I look at San Diego. Love it.
Okay, well, now, to be fair, I would also talk about San Diego the way you talk about San Diego. San Diego's got tacos, different obviously options, but no, it's really fun. It's really fun. Coming up, we'll recap night one of the NCAA tournament because, yes, there were 2 NCAA tournament games last night. Howard and UMBC playing a fun one, but Texas avoided disaster while many of you may have been asleep last night. I'll tell you how coming up next.
The uncontested leader when it comes to engagement rings and fine jewelry here is Genesis Diamonds, the leader for over 20 years. Genesis disrupted the old school jewelers by offering a massive selection of hand-picked diamonds at ridiculously low prices. And year after year, they're voted the best jeweler in Nashville and best place to buy an engagement ring. Fellas, yes, I'm talking directly to you guys right now. Now you got a place to go. Nobody even comes close, though. These days, Genesis owners are as committed as ever to staying ahead with an even larger selection of GI certified diamonds, a growing collection of exclusive designer rings that you can't find anywhere else, expanded warranties and guarantees, and extreme transparency. And what people love, nobody's on commission at Genesis. They are there to guide you to a smart decision with total confidence as well. Genesis is the total package. They have uncompromising quality, unmatched selection, and unbeatable value. And one more thing, if you are looking for a luxury Rolex watch, which are very popular these days, Genesis has cornered the market with a massive selection of pristine, just like new pre-owned Rolex timepieces, all the popular models as well. They have them. So for that special occasion this year, trust my friends and the real experts at Nashville's own Genesis Diamonds. Genesis Diamonds, they're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs, or you can go online at genesisdiamonds.com. Amazing store, even more incredible people.
Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up hour number 3. This is more cliche than playing closing time at the end of the radio show.
You hear Hawks playlist, Savage? We're playing basketball.
If Slay can hear it on YouTube, then that's a problem because we're going to get taken down. So no, but if Ron Slay is out there listening.
On the app.
We're playing basketball. We love that.
Should we make a drop like the football, like basketball?
We don't have
basketball.
All right, anyway. All right, cut it off. Last night, Tex with a big win over NC State. 1.1 left of the clock. Tremont Mark making the difference. 68-66. Texas University takes down NC State. They avoided disaster, though, last night, Ramon, because their assistant coach thought there was a timeout and was in the paint.
Yeah.
The Texas assistant coach. I thought Sean Miller was going to absolutely have his head explode. But, very fortunate, Tex, to avoid a technical foul that would have given NC State a chance to tie the game.
Absolutely, man. What a shot, though, by Tremont Marks, though, man. I'm talking about leaning like Kobe on that thing. I feel like that's the one in the classroom where you shoot it and, everybody got the one word, Kobe. Like, that shot right there was clutch. I'm happy for the SEC of getting this dub, though, number one, because we needed this as a conference, get them in and be secure in this as well. But as you said, I can't even do this show with Ron in the chat right now. He's so pro basketball right now, and we are as well. But good game. March Madness has officially started. 2 games last night that were under 3-point differences, and the scores have ended. This is why March Madness doesn't miss. It's because it's madness even from the play-in games right now.
Yeah, NC State only had 3 3-pointers in the first 58-29, and then they matched that in a minute with threes from Paul McNeil Jr. and another from Darian Williams. It is a first-round exit for first-year head coach Will Wade, Nashville's own Will Wade, I should add, in year 1 at NC State. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe he's
year 1.
There's talks of LSU there again.
Well, wait.
Yeah. I don't know how much.
They want that old thing?
How much? Well, always.
Well, wow.
I don't know if that's fan driven or if there's any legs to that whatsoever. I mean, I'd be surprised to see him up and leave so quickly, but anyway, we'll see. But Texas getting the job done. Howard over UMBC. That was a fun finish. We also, and this is something that Slay will appreciate, these 16 versus 16 games are still so much fun.
Yeah, they are.
Like, just because they've got a very minor possibility of winning against a 1 seed, like, it's still really, like, there's good shot making, there's good defense, there's drama, there's everything. And those games always seem to come down to the wire. But Howard getting the job done.
No doubt. In the MEAC, man. In the MEAC.
There you go. Kenny Blakeney, the head coach, they had 4 wins in his first season. And his second season was limited to 5 games in COVID. And now they've made back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances. So that's a cool story for the Bison of Howard, who take down the Retrievers of UMBC 86-83.
Wow, UMBC also had a tweet they had to send out. Did you see this yesterday?
No, what was it?
From their official UMBC Athletics, lot of people tweeting at us some not nice things because of the first half of a college basketball game. You, an adult, are sending angry messages to a college social media account about a sporting event for college kids. Just making sure we understand. Then they reply to that tweet and says the replies are proving our point. Dang. We mad at UMBC now?
Yeah, they have a kind of a funny Twitter voice. But yes,
wow,
that's crazy.
Oh my God,
10,000 likes and has 1 million views.
good for them. I saw it come across yesterday. I was like, what is this madness? And then I read it, of course. It's
Somebody
insane.
replied and said, admin, could you go out there and hit some threes for me? And the person responded and said, Hammy is a little sore, TBH.
That's elite.
What a good play. I can't wait to discuss this March Madness with ESPN's Ron Slay, or as I like to call him now, we go by Savage or Savage Dree. You hear us just say Dreeland. So he's Dree as well. ESPN's own Dree SPN is what I call him now. Dree SPN.
I love it.
Just don't take it like Jay Will did.
Tonight, yeah, that's right. Tonight, 5:40, Prairie View A&M and Lehigh from Dayton. Mm-hmm. And then at 8:15, the game to take on Tennessee.
Yeah.
Miami of Ohio at 31-1, taking on SMU.
Man, I got to ask Savage when he comes in, why is everybody not so high on Miami of Ohio? It almost feels as if everybody, like, that 31-1 bothered people. Like, at least from the Auburn perspective, by Auburn trying to proclaim it should have been in, I don't care who you are. If you're a Division I basketball program, getting in at 31-1 is still a feat. I don't care if it was a cupcake schedule.
Yeah, the thing on Miami of Ohio, I mean, they're not as big. They're the 153rd biggest team in college basketball in terms of average height. It's crazy. If Tennessee were to play Miami of Ohio, this might be the biggest disparity in offensive rebounding ability in the history of the NCAA tournament. Tennessee is number 1 in college basketball, and as Mike Keith just told us, like top 10 in the last 25 years of college basketball in offensive rebounding percentage. You know what Miami of Ohio ranks in offensive rebounding percentage?
What they are?
332nd. They rebound 25.3% of their misses. Tennessee is close to 45% of their misses. Miami of Ohio is a great story. They deserve to be here. Ken Palm's got SMU by 7 tonight, and they give Miami of Ohio a 26% chance of winning tonight.
Oh, Lord.
It feels like we've kind of had to suspend belief on how much of a threat Miami of Ohio actually is because they earned the right to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of agreeing on two things at once. On the one hand, Miami of Ohio is a great story and earned a chance to get an at-large bid. On the other side, they're not as good as the normal 11 seed is.
It's just based off the results of what it looks like for them, man. This almost feels like respectfully, I say this, like JMU going undefeated and they're only ranked like 24th. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Peyton, by the way. Shout out to Peyton.
That's right. My fiance was a JMU grad. JMU mentioned. Who they play in the women's tournament?
Who? Lady Vols?
Kentucky.
You idiot.
Peyton gets to join me in cheering against Kentucky.
Hey.
We're very excited.
Yeah.
As a big JMU women's basketball fan since the selection show on Sunday, I am very pumped.
Yeah, we are.
Very pumped.
We have zero conversation about the Lady Vols right now. We just waiting.
I mean, what's there to say other than that the season's about to be over?
I'll ask Savage on Friday.
It's funny because Ron Slay in the Evan and Bank chat says, I can talk basketball. I can't talk basketball in there. Only cricket and football on Fridays at 9:20 on Ramon and Will. I will not be commenting on basketball.
And Stoney Keeley goes, we need more cricket analysis.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If we talked crickets, you know what we'd hear from the audience?
What?
Crickets. Coming up, Rhett Bryan joins us. We're previewing the NFL draft wide receivers with the executive producer at Titans Radio after this.
9:05, good morning, live from the Circuit Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Down studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Dolphins with a big trade yesterday as they traded wide receiver Jalen Waddle and a fourth-round draft pick to the Broncos in exchange for their first, third, and late fourth-round pick in this year's draft. And per Adam Schefter this morning, teams have called the Dolphins to inquire about trading for Pro Bowl running back Devon Achane, but have all been told that he is not available. In college basketball, last night with the first four, Texas guard Jamon Marks stunned NC State, hitting the go-ahead jumper with 1 second left and giving the Longhorns a 68-66 win. Texas will play BYU tomorrow night, and Howard beat UMBC 86-83. They earned the right to play number 1 seed Michigan tomorrow. Tonight, 5:40 on True TV, Prairie View A&M takes on Lehigh for the final 16 seed in the South, and they'll play Florida on Friday. And then at 8:15, Miami of Ohio takes on SMU for the final 11 seed, and they'll play Tennessee coming up this Friday. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into our number 4 as Ramon Will rolls on. Crew's all here. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins behind the glass, and Rhett Bryans in studio for the fourth quarter and final 60 minutes of the program. What's up, Rhett? Good morning.
I'm just showing the people out there on YouTube TV, take a look at the old logo, or the new logo, I should say. Fresh and clean, 2026 and beyond.
I love it.
I'm doing great. It is always good to be with you gentlemen this morning. I would like to start Rhett time here.
Do it.
With one of the latest free agents that the Titans added in safety, Tony Adams from Illinois.
Okay.
Former New York Jet. Obviously, Robert Saleh has history with him.
Yep.
I got to looking at that cat, undrafted a few years back, 27 years old. At his pro day, now this is not combine, so there's, hand timed 40s, whatever. But at his pro day at Illinois, 4.34 in the 40. Wow. 10.11 broad jump, 41.5-inch vert, 14 reps at 225, and a 4.04 in the short shuttle, 20-yard short shuttle.
Okay.
That would have been top 15 at this year's combine. In terms of his 40. No, I'm sorry. His vert would have been top 15. His 40 would have been top 10. Short shuttle would have been the tops in this year's combine.
Wow. That's crazy how those invites go out like that, and you missed this one.
Yeah. 53 games, 36 starts, 232 tackles, 4 interceptions, 16 pass breakups, 11 tackles for loss. Started 9 games for the Jets in 2025. That's just very interesting to me. The explosive athletic traits are there. And by looking at the PBUs and those things, he's around football. So
I like it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that is
and at 5'11", all those numbers now. He's not like he's 6'3" or something.
Right. So I think that's an addition that went under the radar a little bit because all of a sudden now bringing back him and Jarek Reed at safety as well with the obviously 2 starters you have in Amani Hooker and Kevin Winston Jr. I'm not sure safety, Rhett, is very high in the list of priorities anymore heading into the offseason.
No, I mean, look, everything that they've done, and by the way, I mean, what's the transaction number now? It's got to be close to 25, right?
I think so.
Between re-signing their own and everything they've done.
With Chestnut and Deculus yesterday. Yeah.
Look, I know everybody is talking about Jeremiyah Love at 4, and it could very well be. It seems to be leaning that way because of how heavy they went with defense in free agency, which was the place where you had the greater set of needs.
Right.
That doesn't mean that that's going to be exactly that. Obviously, you got to see what the Jets and the Cardinals do at 2 and 3. But it's just interesting to see how this can play out. And that Thursday night, the 23rd of April, and quite frankly, Friday night, the 24th, I think it's going to be very interesting to see which way they go and what they do.
It's a month away. Like, this weekend is a month away from the NFL draft.
Bingo.
It's kind of like it's kind of flown by this year to me.
It has.
I don't know. I feel like we've got so many options with what the pick at number 4 is going to be that the past couple of years it's felt so pigeonholed into one thing or two players or one position that the options being this wide open has made the time pass very quickly.
And the flurry of additions in the last week.
And a rebrand. A new logo. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then if you want to just put the icing on the cake, drive by over there and take a look at the new building. I mean, it's coming along, man, big time.
It is. I actually prefer the pre-draft being this way, so wide open. We've got left and right. We got running back, linebacker, edge, like the possibilities because of, to your point, like I counted on the just on the Titans transaction before I guess they re-signed their own guys back, the vested veterans and stuff like that. I looked at the situation and said they really got busy in free agency. Like we knew there was a empty cupboard. We had that conversation a little bit last year, but the way they're satisfying key positions this free agency term is super unique and kind of led us to many different avenues off of this offseason before the draft.
Well, the three of us talked about this after the season was over. Then I think I had counted like 26 free agents of their own. And they've signed, 3 of those that were their own?
Yep.
Between the long snapper, the kicker, Morgan, Joey, and now Julius Chestnut.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Jarek Reed.
Jarek Reed would be the fourth.
Yep.
But the rest of them are from somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the building process it's there. I mean, it's clear they're building.
The Julius Chestnut sign, I like it for the basis of what
makes good sense.
It makes good sense, Rhett. The role that he'll play is to your opinion, probably more special teamers.
Yeah,
Julius Chestnut.
Yeah, and the other part of it, he's just it's so important to have somebody that has knowledge of the building and knowledge of the ways and means. And now he'll have to learn whatever that is under Brian Dable.
No doubt.
But he's a seasoned veteran now and certainly a pro with the way he carries himself. So institutional knowledge is good, and when he's called upon, he produces. I mean, that's just what he does. That's the kind of guy you need to help this team. You need lots of those kinds of guys.
One in particular I wanted to ask you a question about because I know he was a great locker room guy. You've had numerous conversations with him. Will, you have as well, especially in this last year because his role kind of ticked up a little bit more as far as leadership. But Chig Okonkwo, departure. That was, I think a lot of his fan base wanted him back, but the business is what it is, right? What was your experiences like with him as a Titan before his exit to Washington, man?
He was always approachable, amenable. I mean, he's a great dude.
Yeah.
Never had any issue with him whatsoever, and he did what was asked of him. I think some of where his career was here is what he was asked to do and the regimes that they went through and the coaching changes they went through. And that's why I think that's part of why it points to towards the end of almost every one of his seasons here, there was an uptick in production. It's like, well, let's get him worked out. Now, all that being said, it's clear they were going to allocate monies in other places positionally. And the other part of that is you bring in Gunnar Helm last year, and for all intent and purposes, at that point, the writing was starting to be on the wall because Gunnar Helm, I keep saying it, I think he's going to be very involved in this thing, and he's going to be a red zone weapon for you, big dude who can go get the football. So, I think that's part of it too. But I think that's the only thing that Titans fans would go, man, I wish we still had him.
For sure.
But listen, it seems like there's somebody of that ilk every offseason. Why didn't we keep so-and-so? Why didn't we? And then you got fear of missing out. It's like, oh, man, he's doing so good for the Commanders. But guess what? There are guys that come here that do the same thing from somewhere else.
Very true.
Ask the 49ers about Delaney Walker after he left. Because Vernon Davis was the show. He was the Swiss Army knife.
Rhett Bryant in studio with us as we continue our NFL draft previews with him leading up to, of course, a month away, the first round and the first night of the 2026 NFL draft. Talking wide receivers with Rhett this morning, coming up next.
United Structural System isn't just another repair company. They're your local foundation and waterproofing experts. They live here, they work here, and they understand how Tennessee soil, weather, and homes behave. And they do mean that as well. We live in a region of America where we get rain, we get snow, we get heat, and the ground gets saturated, and it affects the way your home settles. They've been trusted, USS has been trusted in Tennessee since 1994. They've been serving homeowners across Tennessee for over 30 years with more than 30,000 local homeowners. They have trusted USS. That means that experience means they've seen every type of problem our homes face. They know how to read the signs too. Every crack or leak tells a story about your home, and USS knows exactly what those signs are. They pinpoint the problem at the source with foundation settlement, basement water intrusion, crawl space moisture issues, and more. I'll tell you this, it's no guesswork, just experts diagnosing from people who understand Tennessee homes, man. They have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, and they're just a great team. I'm telling you right now, you can get a free home inspection if you head over to USSTN.com. It's United Structural Systems. They are problem solvers, experienced, they're local, and we are USS.
Ramon Will rolls on 104.5 The Zone and Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Previewing NFL Draft wide receivers with Rhett Bryan of Titans Radio. I've got a ton of names, some of whom we talked about yesterday for the Titans on day 2.
You can find them at tonofnames.com.
But I want to start at the top, Rhett.
Go.
Number one on the consensus big board is Carnell Tate at 8.
Okay.
There is a lot of discussion, though, on who's got the highest ceiling in this draft class. Because, Rhett, I almost think Jordan Tyson might have the most upside. And if it were not for the medical red flags, we may be talking about him potentially at 4 for the Titans still. Because that dude, if he could just stay healthy, would look... I mean, and to be fair, it's ACL and collarbone are 2 of his injuries. It's not stuff that worries you as much, but... It's an interesting dynamic at the top between those two and Mekhi Lemon in the battle for number 1 receiver.
All right, so let's start with Jordan Tyson. Started at Colorado, transferred to Arizona State. To your point, in 2022, he was rolling along good in Colorado there. Yeah. He was putting up some numbers. Tore his ACL, MCL, PCL. Like complete knee ligature just wiped out.
He had 21.4 yards per catch before that injury, too, with only 3 starts that season.
Absolutely. No, he was moving. In 2023 at Arizona State, only played in 3 games as he's recovering from that catastrophic knee injury. November, December-ish of 2024, collarbone surgery, missed the rest of the season. And then October 18th of last year, hamstring versus Texas Tech, misses the next 4 games for the Sun Devils. And that leads us to this year, where he did not participate in the on-field drills at the Combine because he was working through a hamstring there. Soft tissue and then some pretty major stuff there. Medical rechecks and red flags on this thing. That's what it is, because everything else is there. 6'2" and 1/8", 203 pounds, arms 30 1/4, hands 9 1/4, wing almost 76 inches. And he had no combine workouts. We'll see if his hammy is ready to roll when they have their pro day. And I can't remember when their pro day is. I'll have to take a look. Over his career between both places, 158 catches, 2,282 yards, 14.4 per catch, 22 touchdowns. Last year, 61 for 711, 11.7 per catch, 8 touchdowns. And again, that's missing 4 games in that. So those numbers would probably be quite a bit healthier there. He's got all the talent in the world. Can he stay on the field? That's where we're talking about.
That's what's so wild about a situation for him. You mentioned this pro day, Rhett. He has to do a pro day. There is absolutely no way around him not showing up and showing his numbers and his talent for a guy that's this riddled with injuries. The other part, too, is if you're drafting a guy like him, you got to have the health facilities to actually keep him on the field as well. Like, there's got to be a study done for a guy like him. Like, are you dehydrated? It's like if you're taking a risk on a guy like that that's coming into the league with these injuries, you got to have a plan for him, or it's a wasted pick because you won't have him on the field.
Yeah, what you're saying is it literally will take a village on a guy like this that has these medical things. But you are willing to invest that wherever you're picking him,
no doubt,
because of everything else that he could bring to the table. By the way, Arizona State's pro day, March 27th. So,
okay.
A few days away still. And, we're 2+ weeks in the rearview mirror from the Combine. So maybe he's got something on track there. Mekhi Lemon is the other one you mentioned, Will, 21 years old. Southern Cal, Fred Biletnikoff Award winner in 2025, 5'11", 192, one of the shorter arm prospects, wing only 73 1/4, hands 8 3/4. At his pro day on March 13th, ran a 4.46 40, did not run one at the Combine, opted out of vertical and broad jump stuff at his pro day, did the field workouts at the Combine, like the gauntlet and those types of things. Over his career, 137 catches, 2,008 yards, 14.7 yards per catch, 14 touchdowns. 2025, 79 for 1156, nearly 15 yards per catch and 11 touchdowns. The production's there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of my more favorite wide receivers in this because he just goes and catches the football.
And he doesn't go down when he has it in his hands. He's got a little bit of Amon-Ra St. Brown to him in the way that he doesn't let the first tackler get him on the ground every time he's got the ball in his hand.
No, that's true. They're clearly some of the better names in this. And I feel like unfairly to the guys in this draft, a lot of people already have their eyeballs towards the 2027 wide receiver class, which is going to be ridiculous pending injury. And it's not just Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State.
Cam Coleman and from one UT and Mike Matthews from the real UT.
Like I'll be interested to see where some of these top tier guys would have ranked in that class.
Yeah, right.
This time a year from now, just to see how that kind of falls into place. Carnell Tate is the other one that you will hear mentioned. 21 years old, just turned 21 in January, as a matter of fact. So he's one of the 60-something underclassmen in this draft. He's a junior. 6'2" and a quarter, 192. Arms 31 and a quarter. Big hands, 10 and a quarter. Big catching mitts. Wing 78 inches. Ran a 4.53 at the 40. 161 in his first 10. His pro day is March 25th. I'm sure he'll do some other stuff there. Last year, 51 catches, 875, 17.2 per catch, 9 touchdowns. And knowing that he's getting some of that stuff because Jeremiah Smith, they're not wanting to throw his way or they're doubling him up or whatever's going on. Carnell, nice route tree, just a good catcher. Again, he's one of the top tier. He's in the first pod of wide receivers in this draft.
So those three feel like they are a little bit separated, Rhett, from the next group, which you would say probably includes Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion, and is Omar Cooper Jr., you think, considered in that next pod of receivers?
Yes.
I said earlier in the show, Rhett, it feels to me like Omar Cooper Jr. is on the kind of run Emeka Ibuka was on this time last year. A solid wide receiver on the national championship team, not going to totally just stun you or wow you with athleticism or testing numbers, but just catches the football and you know what you're getting. And I wouldn't be surprised, Rhett, I don't know what you think, if Omar Cooper Jr. goes somewhere in the 20s in the first round of this thing.
It can happen. It absolutely can happen. And, just look at how the guy plays. Look at what he did on their run to the national championship. And we're going to discuss the other wide receiver in that, Elijah Surratt, that Fernando Mendoza trusted implicitly in moving that ball down the field aerially. Omar Cooper Jr., 6 feet, 196, arms 30 and a quarter, hands 9 and 5/8, so bigger hands, wings 75 and a quarter. Ran a 4.42 40 at the combine, 1.55 in his first 10, so there's a good first step there. 37-inch vertical leap, that's good. And then, 2025 was big time. 69 catches, 937 yards, 13.6 per catch, 13 touchdowns, 22 years old. He's one of my favorite receivers in this draft just because you just see what you get, what you see is what you get.
Right.
He may not blow everybody away. There's more explosive wide receivers in this group this year, but he's just so solid. And the way he plays, the dog in him that he plays with, you can't help but like that. Like, he's going to make somebody a nice prospect in this thing. Now, is he a number one receiver? No, probably not. But he's going to help you.
Is it wrong in, projecting guys that way as well? Or is it smart just to know what you're getting yourself into? Because I think when most of us view the wide receiver position in today's NFL, it's boom or bust, I feel like, if you're not getting Jalen Waddle or one of those premier Justin Jefferson types.
Well, and that's what now, next year's draft is probably what you're talking about that lines up with some of those names, especially a Justin Jefferson with a fantastic, the future receivers that are the Jackson Smith and Jigbas and those kind. But it just depends on what you're needing. Because there's all different kinds. There's big outside receivers. There's slot receivers. There's explosive players in this. So it just depends on what you want. But sometimes it's it's unfair to some of these guys because some of them develop into maybe they were a 3 in the evaluator's eyes. They end up being a really good 2.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd see that very much where they go to being a 1. But, this is, there's a nice group of kids in this class. You mentioned Denzel Boston.
Yeah, I was going to ask about him next.
Had his pro day this week.
Yeah.
At the combine, 6'3.5", 212 pounds, arms 32, hands 9 3/4, nearly 78-inch wingspan. So he's got, catch radius there. Yeah. And 35-inch vert at the combine, 4.28 short shuttle. At the pro day, he bested that 37.5-inch vert, right around the same short shuttle. Had a 6.803 cone drill. So the maneuverability. But the thing I think is interesting is he did not run the 40 at either the combine or his pro day at the advice of his agent. So
it's really interesting.
Does that scare you?
No, I mean the production's there.
Because I think it may mean he's there at 35. I don't know.
And you'll have people that will look and obviously if he ran a 40 in high school or in college, that's probably written somewhere. But that's one of those I hadn't heard of in a minute.
Yeah.
And I'd have to look and see who his agent is. I haven't done my homework on that. But 62 for 881, 14.2 yards per catch in 2025, 11 touchdowns. 20 touchdowns in his career, nearly 14 per catch in his career at Washington. And again, that's the son of David Boston, the former Arizona Cardinals wide receiver that Coach Mack coached all those years back. And his grandfather was Byron Boston, a longtime NFL official. In fact, I believe was on the officiating crew of Super Bowl 34.
Wow.
For the Titans and Rams.
Wow.
But yeah, interesting prospect who just had a pro day and has been through the full car wash and now is lining up pro day visits. And I think he had 12 and counting as of yesterday.
Denzel Boston is one of those, Rhett, that if there is a way he gets to you at 35, I think you got to be really interested there. And I think with a 6'4" frame, with a bigger physical body, that is I think, Rhett, the body type the Titans are looking for. And it's a really good year to need a big, long X receiver.
Well, I'm going to jump time with you a little bit to give you another example of someone that you might think of that would be there at 35, in my opinion, is Malachi Fields from Notre Dame.
That's where I was going to go next again. You read my mind.
If you look at his, you see him at the combine, dude is rocked up.
6'4", 218.
Wow.
NFL body.
Yeah.
Clearly. Arms 32 and an eighth, hands 9, wings 79 inches. Really good blocker. Guess what you need if you're going to do some running? Need some blocking.
You could double up on Notre Dame. Between him and Jeremiah Love.
Here's the thing. Now, he's not going to, blow you away with long track speed, 4.61 in the 40, 1.63 in the first 10 at that size, 38-inch vert, 10.4 broad, 6.983 cone. There's some maneuverability.
Yeah, absolutely.
4.35 short shuttle. He's a combat catcher. He's a really good get it down the field catcher in contested catch situations. Drop rate is really good. Did not drop a whole lot of balls. 17.5 yards per catch average in 2025 for the Fighting Irish. Now, a little older.
Yeah.
24 years old. Right now will be 25 in July. So he's one of those deals. But that's another example of what you're talking about of a Denzel Boston type.
Two guys I think that a lot of people will be asking questions about because of the speed component of it, but you don't know where to fit them on the team. Casey Concepcion and also Zachariah Branch. Where do they fit in this? I think Tyreek Hill's size, speed is what you're getting, but one-trick pony is kind of the way I see him, with especially Zachariah Branch when you break down what he ran at Georgia versus Casey Concepcion, where he's a top takeoff guy.
So Casey Concepcion, one of the more explosive players in this draft.
Very much so.
However, we didn't see any testing at the combine. He did the on-field drills, like the gauntlet drill. So his pro day is fast approaching. 5'11" and 5/8, 196 pounds, arms 30 1/4, hands 9 1/4, wing only about 75 inches. But you look at the production, and by the way, when you look up Casey Concepcion, There's a Filipina singer and actress by the name. Her name is also Casey Concepcion.
Really?
Kevin Concepcion is this man. Yeah,
Kevin.
61 for 919, 15.1 yards per catch, 9 touchdowns in his 1 year with Texas A&M last year. But explosive after the catch. The big thing with him for this 21-year-old young man is he's got to clean up the drops. Had too many of those. He even admitted that and said that's one thing he's working on at the podium at Combine. That's the main thing on him. But yeah, you're getting something. You're turning the keys over to Sonic the Hedgehog here.
I thought, like the way he run routes, I thought he was more like 5'8". To be quite honest with you, 5'11" is at Combine. Feel like 6'1" on the field.
Let me give you another option at wide receiver in this group that is, in my opinion, underrated. And he's not going to be a world beater in this, but he has an incredibly good high floor, high IQ, a possession receiver with really good hands, and that's Elijah Surratt from Indiana. 22 years old, made his way through St. Francis University to James Madison, where Kurt Cignetti was. They went to Indiana. 6'2.5", 213 pounds, arms 31 1/4, hands 10 inches, wing about 76. Did not test at the Combine. Will have his pro day soon. But 4 straight years of 700-plus yards receiving.
So consistent.
Very.
Physical. And you want to talk about an imminent trust factor with the quarterback. Ask Fernando Mendoza about Elijah Surratt.
When they have to have it?
Not just Omar Cooper Jr. But yeah, I mean, career 15.2 yards per catch. And to put that in, and by the way, his teammates called him Waffle House because he's open 24/7. That's his nickname.
That's crazy.
Now think about this. Nick Westbrook-Akine, 6'3" wide receiver, former Titan from Indiana. Nick Westbrook-Akine, 144 for 2,226 yards, 15.5 per catch, 16 touchdowns. Elijah Surratt, somewhere in the same size, 242 catches in his career, 3,678 yards, 15.2 per catch, 44 touchdowns. I'm just saying that is an underrated guy in this draft class, in my opinion. Just if you got a guy that you can trust, he catches the ball, he makes things happen. He's not the world beater explosion. He is so solid in a high floor.
If you went and got an edge rusher or a tackle or a different position at 35, and you knew that you were going to be able to draft Elijah Surratt at 66, I'm great with that.
I take that.
Great with that.
And look, another name that you're starting to hear mentioned a little more is Jacoby Lane, the other receiver from Southern Cal. Now, he's a big receiver. He's 6'4" and 3/8, 200 pounds, arm 32 and 5/8, hands 10.5. Didn't get a wing measurement from him at the Combine, but you got to imagine his has got to be in the upper 70s.
Right.
21 years old. The thing about him, he was dinged up at points last year for the Trojans, but he still had 49 for 765, little over 15 yards per catch, 4 touchdowns. His size and speed, because he ran a 4.47 at the 40 at that size, at nearly 6'5", 158 in the 10, 40-inch vert, nearly a 10-10 broad. Size and speed are going to get him wins, but it's reckless abandon with the way he plays in terms. There's not a lot of organization there.
Okay.
Like his highlight reel stuff, super good. But if you look at him over a long period, sample size, you're like, kind of like Keon Coleman when he came out. Keon Coleman, you look at his highlights, the best stuff, you're like, whoa, this guy has got to be the top 5 receiver in the league.
But in between,
he's not.
Yeah.
The consistency is the question.
The in-betweens.
The
play in, play out
And
stuff.
he's 21 years old. He's a junior. He's an underclassman.
Wow.
All the talent in the world, and certainly an NFL frame for a big receiver. But the large sample size is what's in question.
Yeah.
He is Rhett Bryan, 9 o'clock here on the show in studio as we get closer to NFL draft coverage 2026. Great stuff as always. Appreciate you.
One parting. Jeff Caldwell, wide receiver, Cincinnati, day 3 prospect, 6'5", 216, 78-inch wing, developmental receiver, 4.31 in the 40.
That's
Top 5.
Good.
At 6'5", 216, 148 in his first 10, 42-inch vertical leap, 11.2 broad. Just jumps out of the building. But he's developmental. Going to have to work with him. 22 miles per hour on the catapult system at Cincinnati last year.
Wow.
I could do that.
Good.
Hello.
In what car? Rhett Bryan with us this morning. Thank you, Rhett. Good to see you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Wrapping up the show, coming up, football is being greedy again. I'll tell you what I mean. Coming up next. Hey, it's Will Bowling updating you on Brentwood Hearing Center and the incredible work that they can do for you. Brentwood Hearing Center's doctors of audiology are always committed to providing patients with the most recent hearing device technology. The kind of technology that will help you when you're out to dinner at a noisy restaurant, you're visiting with friends or clients, maybe you're sitting outside at that restaurant and there's a lot of different noises going on, or even while attending sporting events. If you're having difficulty hearing conversation where there's background noise, give Brentwood Hearing Center a call and let them demonstrate industry-changing hearing aid technology for you, which also connects directly to your smartphone or to your television. You can call Brentwood Hearing Center at 615-377-0420 or visit them online at brentwoodhearingcenter.com. They understand there is no cookie-cutter approach to better hearing. They're going to sit down with you, learn where you're having the most trouble hearing, and pinpoint the exact solution for your needs. Online at brentwoodhearingcenter.com, you can call them at 615-377-0420. Brentwood Hearing Center, better hearing, better life. Ramon Will at 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up the show on closing time. Tomorrow we'll dive deep into the NCAA tournament. We'll also talk with Eric Kane about some Vols spring practice nuggets because he's been watching the quarterbacks. So football's being greedy again, Ramon.
We've had a good day doing all sports without saying it out loud. We still got eyes on us.
Your sport, once again, is trying to steal from the sport of basketball.
What they do this
I don't mean time. I don't mean television. I don't mean holidays. I mean Carson Tout. Carson Tout is a Notre Dame basketball player who signed a free agent contract with the Indianapolis Colts with the intent of playing tight end.
Yes.
Yesterday.
I love that. Listen, man, the basketball players make the best football athletes. It's just kind of how it goes.
Led Notre Dame in rebounding with 9 rebounds per game. Played in his final game with the Irish in last week's ACC tournament. With his eligibility now up, he is turning his attention to football. Carson Tout is 6'8", 250. Led the nation in rebounding, 24-25, while at Northern Arizona. He is one of the better offensive rebounders in the country. And the Colts are signing him. I did see a very funny joke on Twitter yesterday that said, this is the kind of stuff you do when you pay Daniel Jones $40 million. You got to go turn basketball players into tight ends.
You know,
can your sport leave basketball players alone?
Oh, no, man. Listen, they always got a fallback plan. I wish some of my homeboys in high school would have played football sooner, but they wanted to be on the hardwood where everybody can see their faces. No, put on a helmet so nobody knows who you are other than your nameplate, okay? This to me, honestly, makes perfect sense. If you are in a position where, and looking at his tape, I never really saw Carson Tout's tape like this. He's physical. He's a bigger body guy that probably, don't have the highest vertical, but when you view his game and how he plays it, if he can hit that doggone blocking sled and move it with physicality and handle the day-to-day grind of getting beat down, because, basketball players don't really get physical like that. It's one of them situations where they kind of pampered a little bit more. If he can get his nails broken here and there and catch the football from time to time, he got the aggression to do it. I love this for him.
Who is the best basketball player right now who you'd want to see play football? College or NFL?
Best athlete in the world that I'm watching, period. In all sports. No question about it. Anthony Edwards. Okay. Hands down, Ant-Man. Put him on the football field. He can be tight end, running back, or wide receiver. No better athlete in the world to me right now than Anthony Edwards.
I'd love to see Nikola Jokic be like Gronk. I think it'd be very funny.
Stop.
I don't think he could because he's more touch and technique.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he moves pretty good.
He does.
He just looks awkward as he's doing it, but he still moves pretty good.
What do you think his 40 time would be?
5 too slow.
That's 5 too slow. Yeah, you too slow, Hawk. That's what you get. I'd sign his brothers, though. Joker's brothers.
Oh, okay.
Easy guard tackle combo. Have you not seen the brothers?
No.
Oh. You got to go see the brothers.
Congratulations to former Tennessee assistant David Cutcliffe, former National Coach of the Year, 3-time Conference Coach of the Year, who announced his retirement yesterday from a special assistant job in Greg Sankey's office with the SEC. 4-decade coaching career, including 20 years as head coach at Ole Miss and Duke. He served as an assistant at Tennessee from 82 to 98, then again in 06 and 07. Of course, that was with you, Ramon. What will you remember most fondly about being coached by David Cutcliffe?
Pure football mind. Ain't no other way around it. He has high expectations, high demands, and a high set of standards for the game of football. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you've been around David Cutcliffe, Coach David Cutcliffe as a coach, when he's in his zone, you understand the differences from the pros and the actors. Coach Cutcliffe has always been a pro in everything that he's done. And the beautiful thing that I loved about Cut, I know every coach says, I treat everybody the same, I treat everybody fair but differently. No, with Coach Cutcliffe, everybody is the same because his standards are so high that you have to meet them. And, man, what a great asset he was to the game of football, to the sport.
Yeah, he's best. Tennessee legend.
From high school to college, some of the greatest ever played will go in the Hall of Fame because of the teachings that Coach Cutcliffe set for them, i.e. the Sheriff.
Good stuff.
Peyton.
Legend. Coming up tomorrow, we will learn Tennessee's opponent in the NCAA tournament. We'll talk more about that. Eric King will join us at 9:20. More draft discussion. We'll do our blind draft resumes tomorrow, 6 to 10. Nobody else working full days, so we might as well shoulder the load for the entire station, Ramon.
Why
not us?
That's the reason we talk all sports here. Also, another David Cutcliffe legend, Daniel Jones, baby. But remember at all times, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot, baby.
We're playing basketball.